Good morning, good evening, whatever time it is for you. It is preseason time. We're about to come up against Vissel Kobe. We brought in our Japanese J League expert or whatever expert we could find in the Spurs community, someone who also as well is going to bravely show his face at this time of the hour. We have Nick Lazy 8 alongside me, and it's a Yank takeover today, Nick. We're
Yes,
going
it
on tour
is.
in Japan. How you feeling ahead of this one? It sounds like you're on the coffee. I'm not going to be on the coffee. It's a little too early for me to try that. I'm going to treat coffee like it is or I'm going to treat water like it's coffee.
Uh-huh.
Um,
Good move.
how
Good
are
move.
you? How are you? What
I'm
are we
all right,
doing?
man. I'm all right. I got a decent night's sleep. I will play the role of expert. I can play the role of doctor. I can play the role of scientist. I can, fake a lot of things. I'm basically the guy who was up early enough in the morning that I could be on here with you, and I'll play that role too. It's lovely out here. The sun is just rising. In the east over here, I can see the chemtrails just fizzing up over New Jersey. It's a beautiful morning in greater New York. I'm ready for a little football, man, in Tokyo at the National Stadium, which is a hell of a thing to see, man. That is a big stadium.
It's a big stadium. Maybe is it compared to the you were recently watching the Euros, the Berlin Olympic Stadion.
Yeah,
It
I,
has
I don't think it's as big as that. That thing
Is
is
it as
massive.
ugly as it is? Because the Olympic Stadion is not really the best for football viewing. It has the track around it. What's this one like in comparison for football
It's
watching?
it's got a similar vibe in that it's a multi-use kind of a thing. It's for what do you call it, athletics as well. I put it a little more akin to Wembley with a bit more of a modern look. Even New Wembley kind of seems a little old to me even.
Hmm.
But
Well, we'll treat it like it's the Wembley of old. Maybe we can treat this game quite seriously. Vissel Kobe, I think, are in the middle of their season right now, so this could be an interesting
that's right.
matchup between a team that's right trying to get into good shape, trying to help out their legs, get into the shape of things this season, warming up. But we also have a team that's well warmed. They're halfway through. They're in good shape. And they're also as well, like you said, former champions of the J League. They are the defending champions, so they're at least of some quality in terms of the J League teams. They have some experience, I think you said. They have a lot of old heads from the J League as well as from various other leagues in their time. These players on the Vissel Kobe team. But yeah, give us an inside scoop, Nick, before I get to the chat here. I mean, this Vissel Kobe team, are they in any way, where do they stand between Hearts and QPR? Are they in between? Are they actually below those two? What do you think this team is in terms of maybe
That's a good
quality?
question, man. Because if you listen to Ainge's press conference yesterday, he was bigging up the J League as much as he could. The distance between the J League and the Premier League is miles, and I think pretty much most of us would expect that. I would put the J League and the Scottish Prem probably not too far off each other, I'd say. So if you're looking at a third place finishing Hearts, you're looking at a first place finishing last season Vissel Kobe.
Hmm.
So you've got a pretty well drilled team, and as you mentioned, man, this is not a young squad. This is not a young squad by any means. I think the average age, if you put it on paper, of the starting 11 is actually nearing 30. Yeah, which is you got some old heads up there. Pretty much leading the pack up at the front is a name some people might remember, which is Yoshi Muto, formerly of Newcastle fame, and he's been doing pretty good in the last couple of seasons with them. You might remember also this is the club that Andreas Iniesta did retire to after leaving Barcelona. I think he's back in Miami right now, but he spent a couple years at Vissel Kobe, got them cranking. They're not known to be a champion side. They're basically mid-table for the entire. Last year's win was their first in J League history since the founding of the J League in '93. So they've got a stalwart squad of old heads, um, a lot of experience, but they're fighting to retain their title and not doing the best job of it. They are in fourth place right now, and it's not a huge gap, but I'm very interested to see. We see their lineup here, and it is their starting lineup. They're in the middle of a bit of a break. right now. They don't play again until next week, so this is their weekend match right now. So they can afford to put out their usual starting 11.
That's
They've
good for
gone
us.
last couple of matches. They've been playing this guy Jean Patrick on the left because their usual left winger Itaguchi has been out with an injury. Looks like he's back, and they're going to start him again. Jean Patrick will be on the bench. They do have goals in them. Their forward line is effective. They're good. They play a little bit of Ange ball. In fact, the way they set up, it might give you a little hints of maybe a lot of people were learning off of Ange
Yeah.
while he was there. They set up in a 4-3-3. They do a little thing with kind of twin eights up top, which I'm not a huge I don't hate. I kind of like it with a deep line six. It'll be interesting to see how we come up against them because it might be, same tactics trying to neutralize each other out.
Well, I wish I could have paid you more ahead of time for this analysis because, geez, that was impressive. I must say, everybody, look how many minutes he was even able to cover with all that analysis. It's like we have, like I said, really our own J-League expert here on the show. You actually outdone yourself, Nick, I think, with that one. That was impressive. It's just lovely to hear, too. It was like I was listening to a podcast I like to frequent, the Sweeper, and it's just various leagues from outside of Europe that pretty much not a lot of people might pay attention to, but it's always nice to have as a wonderful background, and that was actually just wonderful to listen to. And in case you were ever wondering where Muto has gone to, he has gone to the J-League, and he has gone to Vissel Kobe, and we'll be able to see him on display today. Hopefully people can hear us okay, see us okay. I'm going for what Nick was saying, a bit more of a mood lighting, because I don't want to wake myself up too early. Maybe I can do this watch along and still magically fall asleep afterwards. Like I said earlier, everyone, it is a pretty early one for me. It's an even earlier one for Nick to a degree. It's kind of more middle of the evening. I'm doing my best impression of what Ribsy, Davy Shire, Dark Sun G, all of you lovely people over on the southern hemisphere, as well as just on the far eastern regions of this wonderful globe of ours, where Spurs just seems to span all of it. But I'm trying to do my best impression of what you guys have to go through on a regular basis, and I'm going to have to do it more than once while I'm on the West Coast here, so I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to really be training myself for the future to come. It's like my own preseason for the watch along. It's my own training. I'm doing my own training at the moment right now. So hopefully people can hear us okay. Hopefully people can see us okay. I apologize for my slightly red headset and just in general the kind of insurance collie headset that I have right now. Hopefully it sounds okay, but my microphone's having some slight issues, and it will be taken care of. But like I said, it's all part of the preseason training. These are the kinks. These are the things that we try to figure out before we get into the big games, before we get into the more serious ones. But I'm looking forward to this. This should be fun.
You do look a little bit like you're about to land an Airbus.
Yes,
right
maybe not as much
makes you look
insurance
more
call.
official.
I'm going to be helping Ange and the squad, direct their flight to Korea after this one. That's going to be on the air traffic deck for this. But really do appreciate all of you lovely people. Thanks for tuning in. Smash that like button for us if you can. If you do want to support the channel any further, feel free to become a member. I know Davey Shire has been very generous with that today, and I do appreciate it. And so please, everybody, if you are watching this game and you want to come on this Monday and have a chat about your thoughts on the preseason, the transfer window, all that good stuff, take advantage of Davey Shire's generosity and come on and have your say this Monday. Shout out to Dave as well for running the pre-match build-up nice and early. He had to get up early in some way or some fashion, and I think he'll have to join me as well for some Twitter reacts after this, which should be fun if we get a nice convincing win today. Let's bring in the chat, though. Let's see how the people are doing. Maybe I should first probably address the lineup. That might be smart as well. Vicario, we have in goals. He's back in the team, Nick. He's looking strong. He's looking tall. The haircut's the same, but it is the one and only Big Vic in goals. Pedro Porro at right back. We have Emerson Royale at right side at center back. We have Archie Gray again at center back. And more left-sided center back maybe this time, I'd assume, than maybe where Emerson Royale would be playing. Maybe he's been given a different spot in the back four. Then we have Ben Davies, who's coming into the team. If anybody who's a member heard my pre-match member thoughts, I did say at least one of the things I would not have liked to have seen Ben Davies pretty much in the team, but also at left back particularly. I just don't really see him as an inverted fullback. I would have rather have seen him as a left-sided center back, but you never know. Maybe Archie Gray might be playing out there or something like that. We never know what the team might end up actually shaping out like. But we have Pop Matasar in midfield, Basuma in midfield, Madison midfield. That's a very familiar looking midfield. Not many youngsters in
Absolutely.
there. Kulisevsky, Sonny, and Johnson are the
And
front
Johnson.
three.
So from the impression of the, that's the only real confusing thing, and it probably solves itself. But are we thinking Kulu down the middle here? Because if I mean, for God's sake, I hope he's not planning on putting Johnson down the right. As you mentioned, there's no Werner. No Timo Werner today. I guess he wasn't feeling, he got caught a little bug on the plane or something like that. Maybe he ate one too many pieces of sashimi,
Yes.
something like that. Something hit him bad. So we won't be seeing him for this match. But my guess is it's going to be Kulu down the center, and we're going to see Sun on the left. For God's sake, I hope that's what we're going to see. I'm a little bit disappointed it's not Devine or Lancashire, but it makes sense to me that at this point in time, Ange wants to get as many minutes into our front three and getting them playing as much as possible together, just to get them match ready.
Mm. And you took the sashimi joke out of my mouth. That's exactly the Japanese dish that I was going to use.
First
That
thing I could come up with.
maybe Timo has a delicate stomach while in Japan. I saw that Brennan Johnson and some of the others were enjoying themselves when they did have some time off from the hot training. And this time of year, Nick, I assume that it is going to be very, very warm. Maybe they're playing in the evening, so it might be a bit easier. But I assume
And
it's a
it's
very
hot.
warm evening in
It
Japan.
is hot out there right now, man. And by all accounts, from what footage that we've seen in comments, it is very steamy. It's a steamy July out there, so it's been tough, I think.
Should we be seeing some leggy players then?
You know what, man? I think how Ange scheduled that impromptu match where he put the youngsters out in. I think a lot of that. Listen, jet lag is a thing, man. It's a real thing making these trips. And footballers, summertime. I think that he wanted to get a little bit of more energy into some of the young players in particular, because the best way to beat that jet lag is to tire yourself out, get back into your regular rhythm, go to sleep at your normal hour, and then try to get up at your normal hour again. I don't know if it's gonna be as much legginess from our team. Frankly, we got practically an 11 of pensioners we're playing up against too. I'm a little worried about them, frankly, more than our team right now. We've got an entire army of young kids as well that we can field an entire new team, at halftime. So, I'm not sure. I would be surprised if legginess is a thing on our end, but
Interesting.
you never know.
Well, no, we're not going to give them that break, I guess. But I'd assume that they would be pretty tired, considering that they've been in that sort of training mode to try to get into peak fitness. That's also part of the reason why I think you go to maybe a Japan, you go to Korea, something like that, because not only do we have such a large fan base there, but it is good warm weather training, and you need that actually ahead of a season. You need to get into shape as quickly as possible, and throwing yourself into a hot pitch and just basically doing the suicides up and down, like we saw with Antonio Conte during that year. I think that was also Korea, where the players were practically
Yep.
puking on the
Yeah.
sideline. I'm thinking Ange, as much as we know he's a big cuddly teddy bear, he can also be that mean teddy bear from Toy Story 3. So he's probably doing something similar here with some warm weather training. But yeah, I think it could be Kulusevski on the left. Maybe Johnson stays on the right. Sonny down the
And
middle.
Son, you're convinced that he's still going to start with Son down the middle?
Yeah,
Listen, I wouldn't be shocked, because for some reason that's what he likes to do right now, especially in preseason. But Dave, I know me as well. Sonny's best position for the majority of people is playing on the left hand side, and I really think he needs to hit the ground running from that natural position. I don't think that starting him off at the beginning of the season, when it really starts, as center forward, makes a whole lot of sense. There's a whole question of, will Richarlison be here? Will we bring in another center forward, et cetera, et cetera? We've got two young center forwards on the bench, right? Two, right? I don't know. I don't even see, is Valise even in there? He is in there. So we've got three young center forwards on the bench right now. One of those three is staying on the team.
Hmm.
for the regular season, in my opinion. At least one of those three is staying on the team. That means one of those three has to get time with Sonny on the pitch at the same time, with Sonny playing off the left. So it's okay if you want to use Kulu as a backup, which is I'm hoping as a backup striker in case, what I'm seeing the way Ange is setting up right now and as we're going into preseason is fluidity across the pitch and the ability to move pieces around the chessboard into different positions when he can. So Kulu as a attacking mid, Kulu as a center forward. I don't mind it. I'm hoping that's what I'm seeing right now. But just for God's sake, let's play Sonny off the left.
I think it might be just maybe, hopefully, not too many more times, but it could be another time of Sunday down the middle, maybe Kulu on the left, Johnson on the right. You hope there could be some fluidity there, that they're not just totally tied down to one position or another, that we can see some movement between them and some flexibility there. If your eyesight is good enough, might as well test it out now. This is the bench. Brandon Austin in goals. We have Gunter as another option as a keeper. We have George Abbott, Drew Spence, Ashley Phillips. We have Oliver Skip on the bench this time instead of starting. Alfie Devine as well. I'd like to see him given some minutes because I think he's been pretty hard to ignore when he's come on. He's looked very sharp. Tyrese Hall as well is in there. My guilty pleasure. We have Lucas Bergvall, James Donnelly, Mikey Moore, and Solomon, Scarlett, Valise, and Lancashire. Like Nick was saying, three different target men like strikers to be picking from. No Richarlison on the bench. Nick and I, before we went live here, everyone, we were having a quick chat about whether there is anything to read into Richarlison being left off the bench. I kind of wanted to go to the side of maybe this has to do with some of the transfer rumors or something like that. It also could be that Richarlison is so injury prone. What's really the point of playing him during these preseason games unless he's totally feeling like he's ready and fit? He has been even missing from the other preseason games. Maybe they really are just kind of taking it very cautiously with him, and they don't want to throw him into something unnecessarily until the games actually start mattering. So I don't know, Nick. What do you think? Richarlison?
I kind of think I'm with you, man. It's kind of a little bit of a bubble wrap situation, man. They don't want to risk a little injury. They don't want him stubbing his toe in the dressing room on the way out or anything like that. It's just you. I think if he is ready to go and there's no real offers out there, I think we see him against Bayern Munich. I
Yeah.
would not be surprised at all.
Use him against the Harry Kane, or Harry Kane's actually might go missing for that game, so we will see
Well, for the first
Richarlison.
game, Kane, I'm sure he'll be in on the second game
Well,
at home.
we get to see the battle of the former Spurs and current Spurs number 9. But really do appreciate all of your guys' support. We're about 7-8 minutes away from kickoff here. We're looking at the lineups on the Spurs screen, and it would be great for you guys to time up with us, to sync up with us during this watch along. Thanks for getting up early or staying up late with us, whatever time it is for you guys. Like I said, I'm doing my best impression of what Ribsy, Dark Sun G, and so many of you guys have to go through on a regular basis during the regular season. This is only the preseason. So again, I still have it quite lucky compared to a lot of you guys. You guys really do have to put up so much effort in order to get up for these Spurs games, so I do commend you all. MV Joker Davis is in the house. Good to see you, sir. Shawnee Maddox is in there as well. Big up to Shawnee Maddox. He's saying, did you wake up or stay up for this one? I definitely woke up for this one. Went to bed at around 8:15 a.m., so I got about, I don't know, 6 hours of sleep or so, and then I'm thinking I might catch up on another 3 or 4 at some point in the evening, Sean, and it's not as crazy as you think. It just ended up being a quiet Friday night. Not too many beers on the water right now. Not even going to try the coffee until maybe later if I really need it. But thank you, Sean. Thanks for the question, because it's probably good to know whether Jack is maybe still rubbing the eyes or if Jack has been basically staying up watching Game of Thrones, until this point. DJ AK saying, big up, Jack. Hope you're well, mate. Early for you, I know. Come on, you Spurs. Kind of just crazy o'clock, like I'd like to say, DJ, for a lot of you guys that had to get up at this time. I don't even call it early. I just call it kind of stupid hours in the evening. Whereas Nick, I would say, really more at the time when you start to see the birds chirping. But even the birds are looking at Nick right now, thinking he's probably a little crazy up at this time.
This is farmer time in America. You only if you're shucking corn or milking the cows, this is when you get up.
There you go. When the Spurs go marching in, Paul Connor says, big up, guys. Great to see you both. Come on, you Spurs. And sad to see Royale and Davies starting over Phillips. Cannot wait till we see our regular defense back in action. Not sure why he doesn't seem to trust Ashley Phillips in these games. Nick, would you have an answer to that?
Because all I could think of right now is because he's not left-footed. He wants to have a left-footed player playing alongside some of these young kids. just to get a little more natural feel for some of how the balls are going to come in, some of how the passing sequences are going to come in. I think Royale kind of has to be seen to be playing right now in case he's here at the start of the season and we need to play him in case Milan gets worried that something's wrong with them. I think we all know he's on his way out the door, but he has to be seen to be fit and ready. That's the only reason I can give right there is instead of starting Phillips.
And Lee Harvey, good to see you, sir. Appreciate your support as a member. Ribsy85 as well, you absolute legend and goat of this channel. Matheson Edwards, been with us a while as well. Appreciate your support, and also appreciate your support during the TIFO watch-alongs as well, Matheson. And he's become a Flat Cat member. Thank you for your support. And also, everyone, please, if you are a fan show member or above, send in your fan cams if you're watching this one after the game. Give us your thoughts on the game. Dave and I should be uploading those in case you would like to send in your thoughts. I understand it's the preseason, but if you have plenty of things to say after the game, we really would encourage it. We would like to see people get that started this season because it should be a regular thing when we do go into the regular season, but I want to see people get it started. So please send in your fan cams after this one. There should be a post in the community section, I think, after the game for it, for all the details and instructions that you might need. Big up to Joff Totten as well. Hopefully the guests enjoy the dinner. Thanks for even tuning in and taking time away from cooking the dinner to throw in your thoughts. Appreciate you. Ghosted as well has been gifted a membership by Davey Shire. Thank you to you, Davey Shire, for all your support today. And please, everybody, take advantage of his generosity. Come on this Monday, have your say, have a chat with Dave or I. There's so many people that do have it, and so we'd like to add to this family. Fan shows have been lots of fun, been good vibes, and we would like to see new faces. And as we continue to say, there is no such thing as a bad debut. Everyone seems to absolutely smash it when they come on. Big up to Davey Shire. And also as well, good to see Black Wolf 1967. We have Scotty Heinem. We have as well Fat Tony saying happy to suffer at 2:30 a.m. for Spurs as long as my fellow. Oh, hey Tony, Washington State Spurs fans, suffer with me. Hey Tony, let me know what you're doing. Are you drinking the lovely coffee that we have over here this early, or are you like myself and drinking the very fine and very drinkable I must say, I'm privileged and lucky to have lived in both New York and Seattle because it's probably some of the finest drinking water, I think, in this this country of ours. So I'm just drinking some nice cold water this morning. Fat Tony splashed them on my face as I was waking up. Probably need another splash at some point, but big up to you, Fat Tony. And also shout out to another crazy Washingtonian. Carl Valencia's in here too. Great name. We have as well, just making sure I'm not missing any members. Maybe I'm not. Good to see so many people in here. We have Shudrill saying, I live in Tokyo. It's just as hot at night as it is in the day. It's the humidity, which is the killer. I know a bit about the humidity in my time in New York. I know Dave, or Nick does as well. I'm going to continue to call you Dave, Nick. I apologize just because it's like, my missus or something. I just continue. Dave.
No worries, man.
So
I
easy.
mean,
It flows off the tongue for me. So I apologize. That's going to happen more than once.
If we score over more 4 goals or more, then I may try the accent. So
we'll get that delusional. But he's saying that Tokyo is also a very humid place. Is it? I'm assuming maybe even more humid than probably New York is.
Listen. So I was there 2 months ago, man, and it was like New York in August when we were there in May. Man, it's no joke in there. So you got to be prepared for it. You need time to settle in and get used to it, man. A couple people asking where it's being shown right now. I know I talked to you about this. That I got a alert yesterday from J League International, which is a J League YouTube channel. So check it out over there. I got a alert that they were showing this match. I went to look it up 2 hours later, and that thumbnail and link were gone. So I don't know what the deal. I don't know if a Levy was pulled on it. I don't know if they said, "Hey, whoa, hey, Spurs play, yo," and it disappeared all of a sudden. But check it out. Davey Shire saying it's on YouTube. A couple people saying it's on Paramount as well. So there's other places other than Spurs play.
Paramount Plus is pulling out the stops for it. That's impressive. But yeah, maybe it could have been Levy pulling the levy. And
we're looking at how Spurs play has the lineup up there. And guess what? Suns up top.
Suns up top. They have Kulusevski on the right, Brennan Johnson on the left. We've been seeing Johnson on the right this whole time alongside Pedro Porro. I found it funny that Mikey Moore and Jed Spence seem to have a better relationship down that right side than even Brennan Johnson and Pedro Porro have, considering that they've played so many games together. But we now get to see something different, which could give us, some different look as to how Brennan Johnson is warming up into this season. Someone is Matheson Edwards saying, how is Emerson starting unless it's an attempt to convince Milan to fork out another few million? Good luck with that. It's
Yeah.
supposed to be close, but we keep hearing that this whole time. So I'm not really sure what to make of that, to be perfectly honest with you. It's a hard one to get a gauge of with Emerson because it's kind of like Højbjerg or something where Ange doesn't actually seem to dislike the player all that much despite the player's intention to leave. If you get that distinction where
Hmm.
Højbjerg last summer made pretty clear that he wanted regular game time and he had a feeling that he probably wasn't going to get regular game time. That being said, Ange Postecoglou liked to use him, and he kept using him as an impact sub, as a guy that he could use in kind of utility positions in case it was needed. So it's a confusing one for me. It's sort of like Ange just doesn't seem to hate Emerson all that much, despite maybe the fan base probably not having maybe the biggest love or support of Emerson. I might need to lean on using the other Spurs play in just a second because
Okay, no
maybe
problem. We
two.
have kicked off here, though. Definitely kicked off, and it looks like a little bit of a feisty start. It's there's some heavier tackles going in. Madison's on the floor already in the 41st second.
And Davey Shire just earlier gifted out 5 memberships. Appreciate you, Davey, sir. And he's gifted them out to Seeker, Shamu Van Woo, Colin Blatch, Leo Gran, and as well as Sharaith. Big up to all of you. Please take advantage of the support from Davey Shire. Like I said, come on this Monday, have a chat with Dave or I. If you want to talk about the Vissel Kobe game, if you want to talk about the preseason transfer news, the stuff is heating up. The season, it's getting even closer. Preseason's getting even more important. These games, these guys are trying to get back into the shape of things, trying to understand the system, trying to get back into peak physical shape, all that important stuff. So please have a
So
chat with us
I'm
this
going to
Monday.
stop the press right here. Everything that I'm seeing right now is exactly what I wanted. Despite Spurs play, who are paid by Tottenham Hotspur to know exactly what's going on with the team, they got it wrong because I see Kulu down the middle, Johnson on the right, Son on the left.
Mm.
That's what I'm seeing in front of me right now.
Just shows even Spurs play don't even have the inside scoop,
Uh-huh.
Nick.
So right now, as I said, a little bit of a feistier start than I thought, but not a lot of definitive outcomes right now. Kobe trying to play out from the right, looking cagey. We don't have much of a press on. Kobe does. They definitely look
Big
like
Vic
they're
with a
up.
very acrobatic save, but more of a
Mhm.
dramatic one at that. I'm actually going to switch over to the Paramount Plus. That actually seems like a genius move. I have no
No
problem with
problem. And
Paramount.
yeah, and if you need,
There you go,
so you're
Paramount.
sharing that on screen right now.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Let me share that with you. Just give me ein moment. Thanks for reminding me to share it with you.
Okay. Yeah, and I can always switch over to mine too if necessary.
But really appreciate everybody who has come on this evening. Thank you guys for continuing to support us during this watch along. Alex Samara saying the crowd is loud. I mean, listen, the fans over in this side of the region, whether it's Australia, Korea, Japan, they don't get to see their favorite club very often. So it is a huge momentous occasion for a lot of these people. I've been there before where I got to see Spurs play in Seattle when I was really, really small at the time and barely even had any recollection of any of it. I was that kind of new to football and that fresh to it. But it is really special, believe me. And I wouldn't be surprised if plenty of these people are actually watching Spurs for the very first time. Not everyone can even afford to make the trip out to London. Not everyone can even make the the expense of it. So this is maybe their opportunity to do so. We have Pat Matasar. Now between him and Basuma flowing. Emerson Royale playing on the right side. Archie Gray on the left sided center back position, which is fun, instead of the right. Daniel Larson saying, good to see you, Daddy Larson saying, let's come on, you Spurs. Let's see if Spurs plays good today. That's I think I have switched over to Paramount once I found out it was available. Daniel Larson, to be perfectly honest, man. I just didn't want to risk it with Spurs play after what happened last time with me and Dave. And then Dave and I, the moment Spurs play had a howler, then I had a howler. Fat Tony, a little coffee and a little green to keep you locked in. Sometimes I feel like the green can really help the coffee, or sometimes it makes the coffee not even do very much. I don't know about you, Fat Tony, but you're probably more experienced than I am. I've taken a big break. Have to remain as professional as possible. I wish I could join you. Vissel Kobe trying to play out from the back from the Spurs pressure, but it is Dave and Nick's wish of Kulusevski down the middle. Good eye from Nick there.
Yeah, I pick some things up sometimes. And sometimes people listen to me, but rarely does that happen.
Well, at least it's better than me probably repeating the same analysis that I might end up doing the whole time. Just a moment, though. Vissel Kobe trying to break out here, and they have a counterattack, and they play the back post. A little heavy.
Yeah, a little heavy, but it did find a target.
Dangerous, though. They're inside the penalty area now. They clip it to the back post. It is dangerous. Archie Gray with a brilliant block.
Very good block.
Back post. Ooh, that was dangerous. Dangerous counterattack from Kobe.
Kobe getting a lot of joy. A lot of joy right now. They're definitely up. This is definitely a team that is used to playing with each other right now. This is a team that's in the middle of their season and knows exactly what they're doing.
They clipped it to the back post here, and it looks like it was their fullback who had a lot of time to think about the shot, but ended up maybe taking too much time over it. Archie Gray then put in a brilliant block in front of it. But Spurs now trying to build out from the back again here. Emerson Royale giving it to the wonderfully composed Archie Gray, who plays plays Sonny here with a wonderful touch, and Sonny just breaks us open. Wonderful play from Sonny.
Yeah, Poppy gets it under control, feeds it out to Johnson.
Johnson feeds it out and knocks it out for a corner. Wonderful play from Sonny there. That's what you get when you are able to release Sonny out on that left wing. Took in a very harsh pass from Archie Gray, beat his man, and then sprayed it, a pass through the midfield into the middle, and it just opened things up for Spurs there. Really, really nice play from Sonny. And Pop Matasar for getting it out wide to Brendan Johnson straight away there. Good play from Spurs.
Everywhere we go.
Accidentally went to the short intro there. James Madison in for a free kick here. For corner kick. He's going to whip this in here. He's doing lots of hand motions.
Apparently, the rest of the team wasn't up on what the hand motions meant.
No.
He went for the ground corner out to the back to Bissouma, who's having to play it all the way back to Emerson.
It's like watching England from a set piece. You're at a corner, and then all of a sudden you've kicked it all the way back to the goalkeeper. Felt like that was intended for Sonny, but then maybe Madison just didn't actually hit it cleanly enough that Bissouma felt like it wasn't. Ooh, dangerous.
Vic coming in there to cover up people's mistakes.
Very dangerous there from Spurs, nearly giving it away, and some of these turnovers have led to some potential counterattacks for Kobe. But I felt like maybe James Madison just didn't hit that cleanly enough, and then Yves Bissouma might have just felt like it was too risky to let that go all the way to Sonny in case there were a potential counterattack to arise from it. So they went very safe. Feeling pretty good this morning, T. How you doing, man? You're up at the same time as Nick is.
We got to get a little more definitive possession on this pitch right now. We're looking like a team that's rusty that just got off the plane.
I don't know what Vissel Kobe is, Ribsy85, but it sounds delicious.
Yeah, hell of a good steak.
Not on the same page from James Madison there. It was actually not a bad move, though. Archie Gray having to come out wide here and cover the fullback, but he whips it in.
Oh, okay. Well, was that Emerson? Because that was one of the most ridiculous goals I've ever seen us concede. It was Pape. Not a good
I'm actually stunned.
Yeah.
I actually almost turned away because I thought we were just going to be able to deal with that no problem.
For those
somehow Spurs have ended
for those
up
not able to see, it was probably one of the worst clearances I've ever seen, directly into one of the Vissel Kobe forwards, who just practically tapped a little bit of a chip in.
Oh my lord! Pop Matasar with a beautiful square to the Japanese striker here, and I just actually turned away for a moment because I simply thought that was going to go out of play.
Yeah.
That's what I originally thought. I thought they were going to let that run out of play. Pop Matasar decided not to, squares it to the Japanese player there, and it's 1-0 to Vissel Kobe, pretty much out of nothing, and literally nothing. That was a horrible ball, And Spurs now have started I would say, quite rocky. Some of the passes have been astray. That's dangerous from the Kobe player.
Yeah, but of course we concede a foul. Johnson, what the hell is that? Oh man, very long ball. The Kobe goalkeeper decided not to take it. Defender decided to try to play it out himself, which is a terrible decision. We were all over him. Johnson decides to foul him.
This is I would say a
We gotta
very
get
sloppy
back
start
together
from
right
Spurs so far. I'm
gotta-
actually blown away that Pop Matsar even decided to put a foot on that. I'm not even kidding everyone. I actually turned away to think that Spurs were just going to let that run out of play, and I was going to check in on the chat and see how it was doing. And then Nick, I looked at his face, and his face was a face of shock and horror, and I had to
couldn't
look
believe
back
it
and
was
realize that they
What
actually
is
did
that?
concede.
I swore it was Emerson for a second there, but no.
Pop Matsar with not an own goal, but a version of, we've seen the best ever own goal from all time from Sergio Reguilon, and then the second best ever one from Eric Dyer against Newcastle. This might have been the best ever assist to a goal that we've seen by a Spurs player that ended up not being our own goal, but the opposition's. Ben Davies here out on the left. Yves Bissouma in midfield. Squares it to Emerson. Hopefully Spurs can start to get some calm.
Yeah.
Good switch of play from Emerson, actually. Good touch from Sonny. Ben Davies into Kulusevski. Good touches here.
Little hold-up ball. Yep.
Well done. Spurs working it down the left here. Madison across the area into Kulusevski. Out for a corner.
Much better. Much better from Spurs. Yeah, much better. They're giving us space, in the midfield. They're able to get real compact as we get into their 6-yard box. But that was a little bit better. We're at least penetrating, and we need to see a lot more of that.
Big up to Wemberley listening along while he's headed back to London from Northwest Wales. That sounds like a gorgeous place to go on vacation. But appreciate your support from earlier, Davey Shire. And then Dave just saying that that's just terrible from Sar. No awareness and no listening to other calls. Listen, Dave, I'm not even kidding. I actually turned away. I just assumed that they were to let that go out of play. I really did. I just really assumed. I mean, there was nobody on Vissel Kobe that was even close to the cross. I don't even know why he even felt like he needed to get a touch on it. The players, they do look a little, I wouldn't even say leggy like we were expecting. They just kind of look a little rocky at this moment in time. Maybe a bit all over the place. Even Davies there, not tracking that ball in behind very well. No, sorry, this is Pedro Porro. He's even all the way over on the other side, Pedro Porro. Very interesting shape even from the Spurs player. It feels like Spurs, yeah, just all over the shop at the moment, kind of defensively. In possession, we've actually looked relatively quick. We're not slow in possession, but defensively, we look a little ropey.
Yeah, and I guess it's not too surprising with the defense that we have out there right now. It's not 4 players who are used to playing with each other, but still, I mean, these are professionals. We have had some training going on, for God's sake.
Corner for Kobe. Left-footed corner. It's going to be an in-swinger. Cleared away very well by Spurs, by Archie Gray, I believe.
Sonny takes it down very well. He's on the break.
All on his own here.
Yeah, all by himself.
And he actually does well to earn a throw-in. Takes us up the pitch and earns a throw-in. That's good work by Sonny, and we're actually halfway up the pitch from that.
Rudy Toot, I ain't gonna say you're lying right there, man. Davies and Emerson on the pitch, man. It's recipe for disaster.
I wish that we could blame Emerson and Davies because it is our favorite scapegoats, no matter where you lie on that sort of spectrum. But at the end of the day, it's actually just on our boy Pop Matasar. I'm sorry.
I don't know.
He's just made an absolute howler.
I think we could come up with a reason why it was Emerson and Davies' fault if we thought about it hard enough.
We definitely could, but unfortunately, it's one of our favorites, Pop Matasar, that's ended up looking like a Ben Davies or like an Emerson there with that mistake. We all thought it was going to be an Emerson or a Ben Davies making that sort of mistake, but it wasn't. I just am so shocked that he even got a touch on it, Pop Matasar. That's the craziest thing about it. He doesn't. I know Dave said that he must have ignored all the shouts. I don't even know why he needed a shout. Like, it's just a ball to no one. And he ends up keeping it alive for no reason at all. That being said, it is only 1-0, and Spurs could easily equalize and end up calming some of our nerves here.
Ledley and Ozzy not looking too impressed with the situation at the moment. I got to admit, though, Kobe looking very calm and collected on the ball, despite from that clearance out into the right-hand side by the goalkeeper unnecessarily. Looked like he was trying to play it out from the back and just went nowhere. But Kobe looked very calm and collected, like they're here to play. They're here to win this game.
Sean Maddox saying, for right now, we can't blame Emerson because we'd be damaging the sale value.
You know what? He ain't helping himself, though. It's the problem.
Oh, like, lovely play here. Absolutely. Oh, it's disgusting.
Johnson.
It's disgusting play from Kulusevski. Kulusevski and Pedro Porro there. Porro absolutely nasty. That's absolutely lovely. And it's 1-1.
Basically putting the whole team on his back right there.
Absolutely gross. Absolutely gross there. Unbelievable play. Okay. You love to see that. You absolutely love to see
Pedro
that.
Pedro says, give it to me over here. I got it. Whoop, dip, slide.
That's absolutely gross. Oh, lovely cut inside. It's a gorgeous finish.
With his left,
Pedro
too,
Porro.
man.
With the left. Cuts back inside.
Slides it in. Oh, a little back heel from Kulusevski,
exactly.
too.
It started with Kulu. It was lovely from Kulu. Dave, any of the Kulusevski fans are buzzing in the chat. They must be. It's another assist for Kulusevski, if you didn't notice, everyone. He has actually had a lot of involvement in the goals that we've scored so far this preseason, whether you like him or not. He's had some interesting link-up plays so far, Kulusevski, and it's come from him playing down the middle. Oh, Vicario could not be any cooler in possession, but Emerson could not be any less cool.
What was that?
No, it's not Emerson. It's Pat Matasar again.
Again?
Sorry, no, Yves Bissouma. I hate the fact that Yves Bissouma and Emerson used the same exact short socks, and then also we have probably the furthest camera angle. But no, that was Yves Bissouma giving it away there. Emerson is playing right-sided center back. Bissouma's playing a little bit deeper at... Oh, what a ball from James Maddison. Out wide here. Can he find Kulu? Sonny, yes, he does. Into Kulu.
Kulu's got to hold it. Oh, Wills for the shot.
Nearly. That was lovely
very good.
play
And
again
that's
from
what I want to
Spurs.
see, Kulusevski, man. Be brave. Take that shot, man. You got it in your locker, man. This is why I think this guy can be effective, man. I think this guy can put in do some work.
It's amazing play from Spurs, actually. Oh, it's a good hit from Kulu, actually. Went near post, nearly scored from it. A wonderful pass from Maddison with the outside of his foot into Sonny on that left side. Then Sonny does exactly what I wanted, playing Kulusevski in behind there. Maddison again.
Maddison dipping and diving. It looks like the team is kind of, waking up a little bit here and doesn't want to embarrass themselves right now. Wants to show what they're about. Want to give a big shout out to Paro Miguel Escobardo. I see you out there, man. You jumping in for that goal. You must be the good luck charm.
Absolutely
today.
Nasty indeed, sir. Good to see you, J Mac. Good to see you, Alexander Villares. Really appreciate you guys for tuning into this one. Kulu has been fantastic this preseason, says Daniel Larson. He certainly has been. Dave saying, I'm sorry, no one can tell me Kulu is not St. Coy's football IQ 1000. Not sure what St. Coy's means, Dave, but unless, as Kulusevski, has he become a saint in your eyes with this preseason so far? It was absolutely nasty from Kulu.
A little bit of a rough challenge on Yoshi Muto from Sar, I think it was. Put him on his butt. Just gave him a free kick, but they weren't able to do anything with it.
And Kulusevski is also showing that he has the link-up play playing as the number 9, which has been a big problem that plenty have had with Sonny or Richarlison. People have had problems with the link-up play of some of our strikers, and Kulusevski could be the answer to that.
I tell you right there, man, we all know it's hard to get the ball off of him, too. So, he's got the good retention, and he can put other players through. Saint is abbreviation for striker?
Abbreviation. Of course it is, Dave. Of course it is. It's 3 a.m. probably. That was probably the sign of my slow brain. My bad, Dave. Much sharper than me this morning.
Leslie Crawford, Porro scored the goal. basically dipped through the entire defense by himself with a little help of a back heel from Kulusevski. Whoa! Good idea from
Very good
Johnson.
idea.
Good idea from Johnson. Just either not enough juice on it, and his target was a
Oh,
bit far
lovely
away.
touch from Pop Matasar there.
Very nice.
And Kulusevski, he is absolutely flowing right now through the midfield and through this striker role. Brennan Johnson, just not enough heat on that for.
No, not enough, and we needed somebody running down the middle for that to actually work.
It's wonderful hold-up plays so far from Kulusevski, everybody. He's been brilliant. He's been wonderful to watch.
Yeah, the problem is I think that this is going to get the idea of Kulu playing down the middle on a regular basis is going to send some people off their nut, because it's going to signify maybe we are going to push the boat out and try to bring in another quality striker. And I wouldn't blame him because, he can't be the only answer. He's Basuma down in a little pain. That's not a good thing to see. He's having a little stretch. He seems all right, though. Looks like he might have been a little ankle scrape, something like that.
He's got tripped up by the looks of things. Brennan Johnson, can he bring this down? Yes, he does. Spurs into Vissel Kobe's half again here. They've woken up from, like I said, actually, I think just defensively they have looked a tiny bit sloppy, but in possession, Spurs have looked dangerous. Emerson Royale.
Going into this match, especially with who I thought we were going to have in defense, which is what we do. We've got basically only one of our starting back line in. We're going to shift goals. It's just a fact. We've got to score more goals, and that's what I want to see. I want to see more goals from us. I'm not that concerned about us conceding goals right now.
Emerson, out wide to Archie Gray.
Nice
Kulusevski.
pass. Very good from Archie.
Madison again with the outside of the boot.
The outside of the boot.
He's loving it.
It was necessary, but
he polished it off. The outside of the boot ahead of this one.
Take
Madison,
a crack, Matters.
lovely pass to Sonny.
Sonny and Madison see
Sonny
each
with the
other.
space! Oh, he fires off a shot. It's a good shot, and it's a good save by the keeper there. I'm liking Kulusevski down the middle, and I'm liking Sonny on the left. This has been very refreshing.
And I'm liking a little link up between Son and Madison right now. It's like they feel a bit more natural in the positions that they're in right now. Yeah, I'm also really interested to see this twin tens situation that we saw last time out with Madison and Kulusevski kind of be playing attacking mid together up front, where it's an all-out rush. I think we have the ability to really overwhelm offenses with that, defenses with that.
Oh.
Daniel Levy in the stands.
We have our It's like Gianni Infantino during the World Cup, where he paid the broadcasters to have to show him during every game. I wonder if Daniel Levy has forced the cameramen for Spurs play as well as for Paramount here to put him on screen. What was funny earlier from Ozzy Ardiles as well as Ledley King. Ledley King looked like he was considering taking himself out of retirement during that Pop Matasar moment. He felt like, geez, if this is happening, maybe I should keep playing at this point.
I mean, hell, you could pull Emerson and Davies off and just put Ledley in there. Looking at a bit of the stats right now, we're definitely leading on the possession. I think a lot of that's coming from the last 10, 15 minutes. Certainly 69% to 31. Taking a little bit of a water break. Absolutely necessary right now. And do we know exactly what time of day it is right now out there? I mean, I assume
it would be an 8 p.m.
8 p.m.
game, right?
Yeah, 8 p.m. kickoff.
That's what you would assume it would be for. But you never know. Maybe the Japanese are like the Spaniards where they watch at the crazy times of 10, 11 p.m. for some of these games.
Yeah, and I think it is 8 p.m. kickoff.
Looks like a bit of break in the action here. Even Sonny's hair is already struggling at this point in the game. The humidity just isn't helping with the conditioner and the product that he uses in it. The hairline has looked amazing this preseason for Sonny, but even the humidity of this kind, it's hard to keep the flow. Good to see you, Danny Darko. AR as well. Appreciate your support. Ben Davies is really struggling as ever. I'll be honest, guys. I think with Emerson and Ben Davies, I would love to hate on them, but I haven't seen like too much to really get on their case. They have had some sloppy possessions, but so has the majority of this team so far. And again, the mistake that actually happened was from Pop Matasar of all people.
Well, and Tottenham, let's see if I can bring it up here. Comment. My mouse has gone dead all of a sudden. I may have to deal with that in a second. But the Tottenham fans TV making a very good point, if not a little bit hard for me to understand at first. But hit that like button. Hit the subscribe button if you're feeling so inclined, people. It doesn't cost you nothing, but it helps out so much. Is that
7
Pape
p.m.?
with another dubious clearance? Again,
Yeah, it
right now? We need less of that, please. Our boy.
If we clear another set piece here, I'll be confident in our set pieces, but I'm not so confident in our ability to clear anything from actual open play. I think Charles saying, I think Anstar to Emerson Royale is a gift to Kobe and their fans.
Right, just to even the playing field a little bit.
Corner kick for Kobe. It's another clearance. By Archie Gray or Emerson, it looked like in the middle there. Hard to tell. It's kind of like watching. God, which team in the Premier League do you get that really zoomed out look? I'm trying to remember. It's not West Ham, even though they do have that very distant look to it. But there's one of those teams that you play where it's like a very zoomed out camera.
It's one of the smaller stadiums you're talking about, isn't it?
Not Bournemouth. Bournemouth is not the one. Bournemouth is a nightmare to do a watch along for. I'll be perfectly honest. It's never fun.
Isn't it Fulham or something like that?
It could be. Very well could be.
Throw in from Kobe.
Ooh, clear it away, Sonny, please. Oh,
wow.
Oh, my Lord. Kulusevski, get there. Yes, he
Whoa,
does.
whoa. That
Referee.
Kulusevski was on a run.
Sir.
Yeah. Kulusevski's touch looking very good from the middle. I mean, what is it about you shift him, a few yards over to the left, and all of a sudden he's a different footballer.
I mean, what is sir in Japanese?
Luton. Yeah, Luton is also, their stadium is basically like a car park, right? They had to stick the cameras on top of, garbage tips and shit.
Had to stick it on top of someone's porch or on someone's back deck. But, geez, that was a nasty foul there. Emerson. Into Pedro Porro, who's had a very free role. I mean, we've seen him at left back. We're seeing him in midfield. He's all over the pitch. Archie Gray. Yves Bissouma. Bissouma looking to break the lines. Yes, he does. Kulusevski just couldn't hold it up. There also needs to be someone to try to get onto that second ball there.
Absolutely. Yeah, he had no options there.
Lee Nuri saying, I'm usually able to cast the Spurs play onto my TV, but the icon seems to have disappeared, so I'm having to watch my laptop. Has anyone else got the same issue? I'm not sure. Nick was telling me that there's that accessibility kind of component of the Spurs play function. I'm not sure if that has anything to do with air casting or Chrome casting or anything like that. I'm not totally sure, though, Lee. I understand what you mean, though. That can be very frustrating when you do want to try to cast it. Vicario. To Emerson. Pop. Oh, Pop gives it away in midfield again. I would say it's, again, everybody, we want to hate on Emerson and Ben Davies. Pop Matasar has not had the cleanest of first halves here.
No, without a doubt he hasn't. And I'm interested to actually see.
That's also not a great pass for Pop Matasar. Jeez, man, get yourself together here.
I'm wondering what kind of changes Ange does make. I mean, does he leave some of these guys out on the pitch, or does he make a full-scale, full 11 change again at this match? I'm guessing some people are staying on the pitch. I'm kind of thinking Pape needs to stay. He needs to get a little more time into his legs, frankly.
Brennan Johnson
We're
playing it
in.
down to
hmm
Kulusevski, just maybe not the right option and a little heavy as well, but it goes out for a throw-in, and we're deep into Kobe's half here. Big up to K32. Feeling it. Feeling excited about the season, are we?
Throwing for Spurs. Kulu's got it. He's trying to hold up. He's way outside the penalty spot.
Sonny here.
Deflection into Sun.
Oh, cuts inside. He gets a little bit of
Mm-hmm.
space. Warming up the
Ooh,
boots for the long shots. Would like to see more of those because last season
yeah,
I felt like he just did not take enough shots from distance. He's someone who I'd give more of a free license to, someone who I wouldn't really care as much about having some of those misses, whereas other players felt like they were the ones that were taking, those longer shots, and I wish Sonny had taken more. Fireworks in Tokyo to celebrate. They're really, giving us the whole red carpet.
yeah, man, yeah, man. And Ribsy, I don't know, man. Maybe he was out on the piss last night. That Yamazaki, some good stuff, man. It's hard to hard to say no if somebody's gonna pour you a shot of that.
What's it like? Is it like a
It's
licorice kind of taste?
it's a single malt
Oh, okay.
Scotch. Oh,
Classy.
glorious stuff. Glorious stuff.
Okay, better than the schnapps or like the
High
the
quality stuff.
not like Jägermeister or something. Ugh, not good.
Absolutely.
Still can't get the taste of that out of my mouth from Germany.
35 degrees Celsius out there. Damn.
Basuma. God, it took too long, Basuma, to get rid of it, but Ben Davies
Davies
a
could
little
not hold
sleepy.
on to it.
Ben
Yeah.
Davies a little bit on the Yamazaki there on the turn.
Uh-huh.
Good switch of play from Kobe out on our right side. Another switch of play to Gray, but
Oh,
Gray lets it go. Or sorry, Ben
yeah.
Davies lets it go, and it's out for a goal kick. There's Muto. I remember him now. Might have been offsides there.
Yeah. He looked a little bit offside there. Decent enough cross, but nobody was in the right position for that.
Jaeger bombs at halftime, Jacko. Really, definitely not, and never. Please, never again. Absolutely hated that stuff. Sonny upset there. I mean, he wasn't really even open, and it wasn't a good pass either.
Basuma, nice hold up on that ball, Biz. Difficult throw to keep retention on. He did a very good job there. Spurs in Kobe's half, knocking it around a little bit. Kobe seemed to have lost a little bit of steam.
In behind it, Ben Davies. Gets
Push on
shoved
Ben
over,
Davies. They did
but
not
he
give
does
that.
well to. He does well actually to try to get up and fight for it there. Nearly actually pokes it to Sonny.
Yeah, Davo, that's a good question. Why is Davies up that high? I mean, I guess he's trying to do his best Mickey VDV impersonation, get a little Christian Romero action in there because we know they can score. Davies, for all the stick that he gets, he is known to come up with a goal out of nowhere every once in a while, and it's usually one at a crucial time. It's a rare, it's a unicorn itself, but it has happened in the past. I remember a crucial header or two from him. Whoa, Ken Hulu rocketed into Hulu about 50 yards away from him. Wasn't able to hold it up.
Ben
Archie Gray
Davies.
putting in a lot of high-powered drill passes.
Sonny.
In, but very well defended out. But we're definitely putting the pressure on him right now. I think everybody's looking a little bit tired because of this heat right now. So I'm expecting a lot of changes at this half.
It's 35 degrees out there. Well, that is quite, and with humidity on top of that, I mean, that
Yeah.
is just It is good for getting in shape. I'll tell you that. It is good for getting in shape if you're trying to run around in that sort of weather. Great ball this time, actually, from Madison. Kulusevski with a terrible shot.
Drills it right into the defender. That was the wrong decision to make.
This looks like it's Muto. Tries to play
Yeah.
him behind.
But Porro is there.
Well done by Porro, actually, to
very
track
good.
back.
To get in front of that.
Kulusevski, it's a good. This time, Madison does get the free kick routine right from the corner kick, but Kulusevski with a very tame shot, and that's the last thing you want to be going for is an accurately placed shot like that, because then if you don't get it right, leads to a very dangerous counterattack. But
Yes,
Madison sprays it out wide to Sonny here on the left. Madison's played, I think, much better in this game than maybe he has in previous.
Yeah, and it took about 10, 12 minutes for everybody to warm up, but him in particular. But it looks like, the team's got something to prove now.
Good ball again
I
for
mean,
Madison.
hopefully he's on. He looks like
Sonny,
he's on.
it's a great ball into Johnson, and it's a great
Johnson.
clearance. Or unless Johnson...
Was it a clearance? I hope.
Yeah,
it was
I
a
really
clearance.
hope. I really hope, because I don't know how much Brendan Johnson torture
Done
I can
very
deal
well
with.
to keep on right there, and Johnson in a great position. And what a curve in.
It looked like a
low
clearance.
cross from Son, man.
Yeah, it's a gorgeous cross from Sonny.
Wow.
This is, again, why we need to have Sonny out in the wing. He's not only our best winger, but he's also our best crosser of the ball.
Without a doubt, from that position, man, it's we're shooting ourselves in the foot by not giving us that advantage.
It looked like good defending for me there. I'm not too sure if I can exactly blame Johnson for not getting to it.
Yeah. We
It
got
looked
the
like good
corner,
defending.
so we won't put it on his head right now.
Emerson clips it to Porro, who first times it. Kulusevski holds it up.
Nobody was expecting that. Oh. Kulusevski couldn't hold it up that time.
Archie Gray. Oh, my Lord. Archie Gray.
Diving,
They have
man.
families.
That's how you do it.
Oh, Archie. Oh,
Listen,
well done,
and then
Archie.
comes
Sonny,
back
have a
and
hit,
wins
man.
Recovery.
Top of the box, Basuma.
Come on, Bez. No.
And
Keep
it wouldn't be
down,
Yves
Basuma.
Basuma.
Lean over the ball.
It wouldn't be Yves Basuma if it wasn't a shot blazing over the bar when he gets a chance. He's sort of like Aurelien Chouameni from the World Cup or from the Euros recently. Chouameni, every single time he had an opportunity to shoot, he just blazed it over the bar. Basuma, I think, is a bit similar. He hates to get it on target. It's his least favorite thing to get a long
Gray,
shot on target.
Man. Jeez, play him in the back, play him in the mid, put him up front, man. I don't care. I want to see him.
That was incredible feat from Archie Gray, if you actually got to watch that, anybody. Ridiculous feat there. Absolutely disgusting. He took it past 3-4 Kobe players. He absolutely just turned them all into ground beef.
Foul on Matters. We get the free kick. We got possession again in their half.
Poor from Porro. That's not even a foul as well.
Yeah.
Oh, that's Muto. Sorry. He's number 11.
Yeah, well, he ran into. I mean, it was people are trying to show themselves right now and show their skills. I don't mind it. Porro thinks he's got this under control, but he wasn't aware that there was a man on. Vic, I thought you would have caught that, Vic. Very, very lofted cross over to the left-hand side for Kobe. Vicario was in the direction of it, chose not to go for it, which a little bit worried about.
Yeah, Vic should be trying to claim that.
Yeah, but he was a little off balance. But I don't like us being that exposed. Gabrielle won. J-League ain't no joke, and that's for true, man. As you can see, I am representing the mighty Kawasaki Frontale right now. One-time dominant in the J-League right now. Teetering on the lofty heights of 14th place, as we've basically been rooted into since the beginning of the season.
Glamorous heights of 14th.
Mm-hmm. But that's the thing with the J League is it can be up and down, man. It's a very open league. Kobe, as I mentioned, first-time winners last season. This time, for basically the last 4 or 5 months, Machida Zelvia, who were recently promoted from J League 2 last season, have been top of the food chain. And it looks like, nobody can dislodge them so far. So it may be a shock winner this season.
I was speaking to a lovely person that I met in the park yesterday in Seattle, and he was saying that, unless this is correct, right? Isn't Vissel Kobe Iniesta, where Iniesta had gone to?
Yeah. Right after Barca, he spent I think 2 seasons, maybe a little bit more. I could be wrong, but yeah, Iniesta was at Kobe. He was not in Kobe last season for their win though.
So he was there more
During the coming up of them,
I
the
see.
rise to if you could call it that.
Good turnover here. Pedro Porro, can you see Sonny at the back post? He tries to, but it gets deflected.
And the team I support, Kawasaki Frontale, was dominant for about 6 years. Their decline did happen to coincide with the arrival of a certain guy from Australia. So, yeah, you make that what you will. And that's the arrival into the J League of Ange Postecoglou into Yokohama F. Marinos. Long ball over the top, trying to find center forward for Kobe. Doesn't go anywhere. Emerson taps it around with Gray. Definitely seems like Gray is the one in charge of that back line right now. A little bit funny, but hey, it is what it is. Ben Davies on the ball, looking for an out ball to Sun. Sun taps it over to Madison. Madison trips up, and that is a foul, winning the free kick.
Lovely touch from Matters there to earn a foul. Very well played by Madison there.
I hope to see a lot more of that shine between Sonny and Madison as we come up. And when Udogie is back and fit, they can really own that left side.
It's been refreshing to even just see Sonny back on the left side again. I mean,
it really has.
He's been probably one of our brightest players there. Pedro Porro, can he get a good shot on? Spurs have been very reluctant to actually play across into the box from some of these set pieces. Some people have pointed that out with the corner kicks, that any of the opportunities that we've had, we've actually decided to go for
the out ball, the grounder.
Some strange routines instead of actually just getting it into the area.
Yeah, and if that's, purely for practice reasons, I've got no problem with it. But we do have Kulusevski there playing as a center forward. He's a tall lad. We should be trying to get it on his nut.
About 3 or 4 minutes here until halftime. I'd say Spurs have done quite well considering the setback from the conceded goal that really was completely unnecessary and came out of nowhere, for to be honest. I think Kobe have looked dangerous on some of these counterattacks, but at the end, they haven't exactly taken advantage of many of them, and Spurs have defended them quite well when they have had to be put in danger. When questions were being asked of the defense in those counterattacks, they've done all right, I would say. They've been sloppy, like they've conceded these counterattacks unnecessarily, Spurs, at times, from some bad giveaways. But then in possession, they've looked saucy at times. They've really broke down Kobe with no problem.
I mean, case in point right there, man. It's kind of a lob ball. Davies has all the time in the world to figure out one of the two things that he can do. He can bring it down to himself and then pick a pass to somebody, or he can clear it out. What he tries to do is do a little bit of a tap over directly into an opposition player so they can start to attack. Terrible decision making.
Oh no, the players had to switch from the black boots to the blue boots. That's a interesting call there.
It's a terrible color combination.
No, it's a terrible color combination. I'm not sure if he's thought of that ahead of time. I'd be asking the manager to sub me off for fashion reasons. Can't be catching me with a full red and black kit and then with blue boots on. I mean, that's just...
Yeah, and that is the defender, Matthias Thuler. Sounds like another person that plays football, but it's not him. This guy is actually Brazilian, and I don't know if you knew, Jack, but it's an unofficial rule that every J League team must have at least 5 Brazilians on them.
Did not know that.
Unofficial. It's not written, but it's basically the case.
Straight from the Brazilian league, or at one point in Europe usually?
Usually a little bit of both. There are a lot that come straight from the Brazilian league. I'll tell you one that you might know something about that used to play for Frontale was the much lauded Leandro Darmião. Spurs fans may
Yeah.
have a little bit of a sour taste in their mouth about that one, but he spent quite a lot of time in the J League and was top scorer a few seasons, player of the season, a couple of seasons, and helped them to a couple of titles.
Yeah, he was a brilliant donkey of a striker.
Yeah.
Um,
He just retired from Frontale last season, I think.
bless
He
his
may
heart.
actually still be on the books, but I think he retired last season. No, he did retire last season, yeah.
I think Spurs have played quite well for the most part, everyone. I think this first half, it's just been slightly sloppy in possession, but the effort levels have been there. I think they're working pretty hard considering the conditions.
Offensively.
Yes. And there have been some bright players. I think Sonny has looked very good. I think
He's looked sharp.
Kulusevski has looked very good.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'd argue Madison has played a lot better this game than he has in maybe the previous preseason matches. Again, it's only preseason, but we're only watching what we can watch. And maybe it's a bit more of probably sloppiness from players like Pop Matasar, strangely. Then again, some people have been pointing out it's kind of only some of his first minutes of the season anyway, so of course we're going to give him that pass. Johnson, I can't really criticize him too much, but I can't really compliment him too much. Bit of both. It's
Kind of a
been,
typical
for the most part, I think, I don't really have too many complaints in this first half for the most part from Spurs. It's just a really strange goal to have conceded, and they probably should have scored more, but they have looked good. They have looked dangerous. And we're approaching the last 10 seconds here. So please, everybody, get your thoughts in the chat, please, on this first half. Let us know what you've seen, what you think we might be missing. Please smash that like button if you haven't already.
And Jack, I'm going to have to take a quick break at the half for a coffee refill, but I will keep it very short.
Sonny here.
Sonny
Ooh, he absolutely tried to ruin that,
yeah.
man. That would have been disrespectful.
Yeah.
And it's half time here. And it's, like I said, I'm not going to really have too many complaints thus far. I think Spurs could have done maybe a tad bit better in moments. But Nick, grab yourself a coffee. Thank you for your service thus far.
You're very welcome. I will be back momentarily.
And please, everybody, let me know your thoughts at any point. If you want to get them in as a super chat, I can answer them straight away. I can also just answer you guys in the chat. I'm looking forward to as well. If you've been watching this game, please, please, please send in your fan cams after this one, because Dave and I, it's something that we would like to be able to honor this season. We're looking to try to give you members lots more perks, and I think that would be an excellent one to take advantage of. If you are a fan show member, if you are an elite member, we'll put up the instructions for that in the community section at some point after the match today. Twitter Reacts should be going out tomorrow after this game as well. But I for the most part, I can't really complain all that much with how Spurs have played. And maybe this next half is an opportunity, like you say there, Dr. Johnny, to see the kids. Maybe we could look at a Will Lancashire to come into the team. There's also Jamie Donnelly that we have to look at. I really like Alfie Devine. I think Alfie Devine has played really well thus far. He's been hard to ignore. But the bright spots this first half have been Kulusevski. Be nice to see him get more than just a first half in the striker's role. He's played really well down the middle. Madison, as good as I think he's played in this first half, does he necessarily need to play many more minutes? I'm not too sure. We've also spoken about with the members, Dave and I, in the members match preview, about how since it is such hot conditions, do you really want to be playing certain players, longer than 60 minutes in this game? I hope not, because we already have another game in Korea as well, which you'd assume is also going to be similar weather of some kind in terms of the conditions and the humidity as well as the heat. And so the game is also only on Wednesday. It's kind of like a Champions League type of thing where we end up playing on this Saturday night only to then play quite quickly on a Wednesday night. That means Ange Postecoglou should probably consider some moves. He should consider about some substitutions of some kind to kind of relieve some of these players of the huge stress that can be put on their bodies from playing in these type of conditions so far. Matheson Edwards saying, is it true? Or Sean Maddox saying, did Porro just swap jerseys? I think maybe he's already sweated through one. Maybe they're not even big fans of these kits. It could be the case that it might not be the best for this type of weather and conditions. That was a common complaint, I think, of some of the Castore kits, I believe, that certain clubs were wearing this last season, that a lot of them were complaining that it wasn't really all that good for playing in really hot conditions. They felt like it wasn't too comfortable. Want to see more in the attacks, says Tyler. Yes and no for me, Tyler. Like, I feel like they have looked pretty positive going forward. Maybe they could have had a few more moves. Vissel Kobe, you can tell, though, they are in good shape, and they have been able to keep up with some of the intensity as well as some of the tempo of this game. They've pretty much been reduced, though, to playing mostly counterattacks, Vissel Kobe, and most of the time I feel like that's been inspired from some random giveaways by Spurs. I think every now and again you are going to see that happen, where we are going to give it away in maybe a not so great of area, and it can lead to a dangerous moment. But for the most part, I think Kobe have not really had too much to work with, going forward. So it's hard for me to say, what Spurs have done particularly poorly in this first half. I mean, they could technically be playing a bit better, but I wouldn't really complain all that much with how they played thus far. I really wouldn't. I just don't really see, any real signs of, poor play or any real signs of concern really from this first half. I think there still is plenty left, and I expect Spurs to go on and win this one. Not that winning is the end-all be-all, and we've also seen plenty of other teams in this Premier League during this preseason lose kind of embarrassingly during their preseason games. So Spurs have actually luckily stayed out of the spotlight when it comes to that. We've seen with Man United losing to Rosenborg. I think Liverpool lost like maybe a recent friendly or something like that. Some other clubs as well. I think Chelsea might have too. They didn't have a great start to their preseason. Kevin Ferguson saying, have you noticed that they're not passing to Johnson in open play? No, not necessarily. I think they have tried to get it to Johnson, and especially last season, when you think about it, Kevin, I mean, Johnson, I felt like, had so many opportunities to make something happen. Maybe this game he hasn't had the best of service for whatever reason, but it feels like they've done a good job of actually trying to go down the left side for the most part. I think Sonny has had a lot more of possession, a lot more of the opportunities. Johnson has had maybe a couple of chances to try to whip in a good cross and get it to the back post. He's just sadly not been able to execute it for maybe in some cases his own fault, but also maybe some good defending as well from the J-League left back and the J-League fullback. There was one chance where he was actually about to tap one home, kind of true Brennan Johnson style, was about to tap one home. But then it ended up being well defended by the J-League player. But for you, Nick, I mean, I just don't really have too many complaints. Like, yes, they could be playing a bit sharper. Yes, they maybe could have created a few more chances, but I don't think they haven't created any chances. And then I think defensively, there's been some sloppy moments, but they've then defended those sloppy moments quite well from their own mistakes. So I don't know. It's a hard one to analyze because it's not something that there's no real red flags, if you get what I mean.
Well, I tell you, man, it's I like the amount of possession. I like the way we've been pushing forward. The midfield does seem, as far as Basuma and Sarr go, it's seeming a little bit sloppy, and some things that we've seen last season are kind of creeping up again. And it could be just a lack of awareness of position of their teammates as much as everything else, defensively and offensively. The left side looks very good going forward. A little bit worried about the right side, frankly. I mean, as you'd say, maybe we're not getting it out to Johnson enough, but I haven't been dazzled by that. We're playing a lot of that Ange ball where we're getting way past our defenders off the wings, but somebody's got to be making that central run. If Kulu's back there doing other hold-up work and he's not making that center run, I don't think it's going to be. We can't only be relying on winger-to-winger goals, because that's easy for a defense to pick up on. That if that's our only outlet, then they're easily going to cut that off. So somebody else has to be in there, whether it's Madison, Sarr, Basuma, somebody, one of the inverted fullbacks. Somebody's got to be making those central runs to at least draw defenders out of the way for the other winger, or take that shot themselves when the cross comes in.
Yeah. Some people have been kind of all over the shop, it feels like, in the chat here, where people are telling, Johnson to wake up. Some are saying that, they've been playing pretty well considering the conditions. I mean, what were your expectations going into this one, Nick? Were we supposed to be seeing something different, something a whole lot better? Or is this around kind of what you were originally anticipated.
Honestly, it is around what I expected. I did not expect to see a fully gelled, organized effort out there. I expect changes. I'm going to be, I'm very interested to see what kind of changes, but this is still kind of a learning exercise for us as well as we want to present ourselves. It is a preseason match, so uh, I think it's on par. I'm also, just oddly enough, I'm not one who's used to seeing Tottenham play well in the preseason. And for my entire Tottenham viewing career, we've usually tanked it, man. The first time I ever saw us play was at the Red Bull Stadium here in the New York area against Roma, which we tanked it like 2-1, even though we played decently. I mean, I remember us losing to the MLS All Stars in a horrendous fashion. I mean, we're usually never together. So we've been doing better than I've expected in the preseason so far. So my question though is, if he does make a bunch of changes and we see more youngsters out there, are we going to see a better show? We have in the last two matches. I'm very interested to see what the Jed Spence and Mikey Moore show looks like against this opposition right now with fresh legs, because it looks like there's something there. It looks like there's some kind of a chemistry going right there out of nowhere. Even though these guys probably don't even know each other from Adam, they're kind of on the same wavelength. Is that really a thing? Is that something we can hope for if Spence stays around? I think this is a perfect time to give it another shot, because I don't think we want to experiment going up against Bayern Munich in the last couple. So give it another shot here, and then put Spence with Johnson in the K League match or coming up, and see if he can really work with somebody else that well. So I'm a little interested to see how that goes.
Earlier in the chat, I believe I was having a debate about whether, with Kevin Ferguson, thank you for supporting the channel as a member, Kevin, about whether Johnson has had enough service. I mean, do you think it's down to him not having enough service? Do you think it's maybe him just not getting in the right areas? I mean, you were mentioning Mikey Moore and Jed Spence and how good they've been together down that right side. I mean, what do you make of kind of in general, maybe the right side? Pedro Porro's played over there. He's actually looked pretty bright, Pedro Porro. He's sort of been all over the pitch.
He has, but that's more of like individually on his own. He's looked like he's ready to take control when he needs to, and that's great. But he also has a right-sided partner out there, and they need to be working together. I haven't seen a whole lot of that yet. But it could be just, we've seen a couple of long cross-field balls over to Johnson. Not much came of them. I think one corner came out of him. I think it may be a little bit more of, we just haven't seen too much of Johnson on the ball yet, and things have been favoring the left side with Madison and Son a bit more. I think I'm going to chalk it up to that for right now. I'm not going to make a decision. We'll see what happens and if Johnson's taken off. Frankly, man, I think, as much as I'd like to see more in Spence right now, I think Johnson needs as much time on the pitch as possible.
Yeah, and I don't think he's played so poorly that he's, kind of angered me like he has in maybe other games. And so I'd agree that maybe he does need as many minutes as possible to try to get into the best possible shape, as well as into the best possible confidence that he can. When you look at the stats here, though, everyone, in case you are interested, Vissel Kobe were able to get 5 shots and 2 on target. Spurs had 8 and 3 on target. 70% possession in our case to their 30%. And for the most part, Spurs have also picked up some corners. We have 5 corners to their 2. Better passing accuracy. Fouls have actually been pretty plenty. 5 fouls in our case to their 7. It's the game has had a bit of tempo to it, has had a bit of pace to it despite the conditions. I remember one of the games we had under Antonio Conte during the preseason. I think it was between us and Sevilla. It might have been. That was one of the slowest games.
Yeah.
But feisty game, but it was a very slow game, I remember. A very leggy game. And this feels slightly different to that. This feels like it has actually some more entertainment to it, to be honest.
That Sevilla match, though, I do remember that being a little bit spicy, though. It's slow, yes, but a little bit like a lot of mixing up between some of the players there. This one, it started out like, there may be a little bit of aggression in there. That is definitely petered out. I think there have been a couple of sloppy tackles in there, but it doesn't seem like any vitriol, really.
Good to see you, Steve D. Hopefully you're keeping well. Chris Loney, appreciate it. I'm joined by Nick, my good friend from New York, has joined me this fine morning to watch our Spurs. He's decided to join me in solidarity. It's going to be a Yank takeover for this one, and
That's right.
And we're trying to make the best of our sanity while we're watching Spurs at this time in the morning. But I think we've done a fine job so far. I've enjoyed watching Spurs at this time. I mean, I was going to probably end up watching it just sort of kind of on my side, pretty much in bed, staying half awake while doing it. So makes most sense to just slap yourself awake in the morning, get the cold water going and watch our lovely Spurs play and get some preseason action. I'd like to see the youngsters come on. I mean, there's good opportunities for Will Lancashire. Nick also mentioned that there's so many different strikers to pick from, which is kind of fun. Yeah. We have Alejo Valise, we have Will Lancashire, we have Dane Scarlett as well, so that should be good to see too. And I do expect that Ange should be making substitutions, and we only play on Wednesday quickly after this, so he does have to think about substitutions for getting different minutes for different players, but also just to not really overexert themselves in this game against Kobe. I mean, I expect that Spurs could go out and win this. Looks like we are seeing Bergvall come on here.
Nice.
Lovely to see him. I mean, I said earlier, James Madison played pretty well, but I'm not sure if we need to see too much of him. So I wonder if that's been the substitution made there.
Yeah, very true. And it's something about the young squad that we've got right now. He could put out all the youngsters right now, and as exciting as they are, I think that they've got a chance to, dominate.
Mm-hmm. Not a full list of changes, but Bergvall is coming on, says Morlar. Okay. I see Brandon Austin also coming on too.
Makes sense. Do we see any center forward change? That's a big question on my mind.
Skip has come in.
He's in there.
Emerson has stayed on to everyone's love and pleasure. Kulusevski's hopefully still down the middle. He had a great first half, if we haven't mentioned that plenty of times, because he does deserve the mentions of that, because Kulusevski, he's been under a lot of pressure from Spurs fans, and it's not like a preseason game's going to, alleviate that or anything, but I would say he has answered some of the critics with this performance. Just maybe bought himself a bit of time or made people think about something with how well he played down the middle.
Well, I think that, he just seems like he's embedded into Ange's plans as well as the club's plans, regardless. And, people have some people love him, some people don't. Some people are kind of in the middle about him, but I think he's here for a while. And if it's the position change that really brings him out, I mean, all the best. But right now, I think we need him, because I don't think any of this transfer business that we're all hoping for is going to get done in the timely fashion that we want it. And we may be leaning on him through the middle into the beginning of the season, depending on what's happening with Richie. And I think there's a lot of this Skip being played, Emerson being played, Kulu being played in the middle is what if things don't happen fast enough in the transfer window.
Yeah.
We need some fail saves.
Do you think it's a bit of a message also sent by Ange Postecoglou in certain cases of, I don't have
get the job done now? Yeah. No, I don't think it is a message as much as I'm not going to get caught out now, because I think it's because he has to. He has to play Skippy, because Skip's got to be ready to play. If we don't get a midfielder in, it's more about that fluidity. I may bring that up later at another time, but even if we do bring in somebody like Eze, then Skip may be surplus to requirement at that point in time. It may be at the end of the window, and boom, he's off to Leicester.
Oh, Johnson in behind. Sorry, Nick.
Yeah, it's all right. I'm waffling anyway, man. There's a game on. Let me stop that nonsense.
No, please, everybody.
We're coming out the box pretty quick.
Sync up with us, everyone. We have gotten kicked off here in the second half. Have appreciated all the people that have, whatever time you're watching it, evening, morning, crazy o'clock like it might be for me. Really do appreciate you guys for tuning into this one. Make yourself known, though, if you're a fellow West Coast person like Fat Tony in the chat and getting up at absolute crazy o'clock, because we're doing our best impression of what, like I said earlier, Ribsy85, Dark Sun G, so many of you lovely guys out in the southern hemisphere, in the far eastern regions of this wonderful planet of ours. And Spurs seem to span the whole globe, but so many Spurs fans aren't maybe fully aware that people are oftentimes for the regular season getting up at just ridiculous times in order to watch their favorite team play. And I'm now able to experience that, see it firsthand here. So please, everybody, really do appreciate you guys. And I'll give out another call because I'm not sure if I remember to put it in the community section. But if you have been watching this game, and if you have thoughts about this game and you are a fan show member or an elite member, please send in your thoughts. Send in those fan cams after the game to our email. I'll put in the instructions in the community section after this one. We would love to hear your thoughts on the game. Johnson in behind again here. He's showing off the pace the second half. Yes, he squared it to Sonny.
Oh, Sonny doesn't miss a thing like that.
It's easy. It's ruthless, baby.
He doesn't miss a thing like that. I think this Kobe team got very, very leggy in that first half. They maybe we're just running around them a bit too much. Their defense has fallen asleep. They have made a couple of changes. They put that guy Jean Patrick, also a Brazilian. They put him on the pitch.
Oh, what
they
a
took
ball
him
from
off.
Pedro here.
I don't know who they took
Johnson
him off
with the burners. He's absolutely Olympian style, 100-meter dash. Has absolutely burned that man alive down that right side, and he squares it to the back post. And Sonny, be honest here, everybody. Not everybody knows this, but it's a good finish from Sonny because he has to hit it into the ground, and he hits it far post away from the keeper. It's a clever finish from Sonny. It's a good cross from Brennan Johnson.
Daniel Larson, sorry, buddy, man. Just stay here. I think there's more goals coming. Kobe looks like they've switched goalkeepers as well, which is interesting. So that may be, you may have more goals in front of you, buddy.
He's always missing goals, Daniel Larson. You've been the good luck charm then, Daniel. You're going to have to go out for the beers, go for the toilet breaks more often, sir. But it's a gorgeous ball from Pedro Porro. And Johnson there, everybody, just to get a glimpse of his pace. I mean, he absolutely roasts that guy alive there down that wing. They're playing a high line, Kobe, and they got really burned for it. It was a bouncing ball behind. Johnson gets onto it, and once he was onto it, he had a clean pair of heels. And Sonny was also having a clean pair of heels, licking his lips at the back post. And finally Johnson puts a cross in there, and he gets his way to Sonny. And I must say, it's a finish that he should be able to make, Sonny. But I do think he does quite well to I would say, he does it in a very fundamental manner. He hits it hard into the ground, kind of skips it off of the ground, and then it ends up being a clever finish to the back, past the keeper's left to the far post. It's just one of those kind of little small things, if you do notice, in someone's finish that just makes it that extra bit better, that extra bit class. But it's excellent work from Johnson, excellent work from Porro. And to a degree, you have to really give it a lot of credit for Porro because it's just a line-splitting pass. It just breaks apart the whole defense. And then Johnson's pace is just that dangerous.
So is that the case too, Sean Maddox? Did you notice that they moved Gray since Skip is now at center back? Gray is in the 6, and did Bizuma come off? Because that is something I would like to see, and that is something where I imagine we'll see, especially if Spence is staying. Then I expect to see some interchange between Bizuma and Gray in the 6th position.
But that's an absolutely brilliant start by Spurs. And anybody who might have been frustrated after the first half, hopefully now relieved seeing Spurs quickly ahead in the second with not even a moment to see what the impact of the subs could, it's just straight away, with the same players that were on in the first half. And we're already 2-1 up. Pedro Porro not feeling good after that challenge.
Yeah.
He's grimacing.
He's walking it off. Yeah, I got to tell you, Jack, I would like the way that home kit looks with the number 23 on the back. I may have to get, Warden Porro this year on that one.
I enjoy the home kit, and I've enjoyed the away kit. I just am thinking
I like the away kit a lot. I'm getting Van de Ven this year. I don't care what anybody says. That kit is flavor, man. I'll wear it every day if I can. People just don't understand. I'm getting VDV on it, but I'm not falling for you get the number on it now and then we change it as soon as Sergio Reguilon leaves the club. I'm not letting that happen, so I'm waiting until at least September to get that kit.
But I think it's nice to see that Spurs have quickly answered there and have gone 2-1 up. And I hope that they don't just go into cruise control, that they do try to push for more like they have in the other matches. Maybe you're right that Kobe put a lot of energy into that first half, thinking that they could get I don't know, like a scare or some sort of type of shock, out of Spurs, but they were unsuccessful in that. But then again, here they are with a
Kobe
potential
on the break.
opportunity, back post, maybe
Cross it,
overhit,
John
good
Patrick gets in,
defending.
Skippy in. Skippy's there to cover it.
Bergvall, what a touch
Bergvall.
here.
Yeah.
Just slightly behind Kulusevski, though. He's got to do better. Kulusevski, good strength.
Does he draw the foul? He's not giving that as a foul on either player. That's interesting. Kulu tried to make that turn a little bit early. Should have come a little bit forward to try to receive it. But no harm, no foul is what it looks like. Kobe knocking it back, going with the long balls. It's looking like they've run out of an option to get through our midfield, and they're just trying to shoot long ones across the pitch right now and catch us off guard, which is not the worst idea in the world because we've known to be sleeping sometimes, but hopefully our lads aren't letting that kind of thing happen on this one. Is that Gray into Bergvall? And Gray pushing forward? Or is that Donnelly?
Looks to be sunny here, and he plays Bergvall. Bergvall with the gorgeous turn. Bergvall!
Ivan.
It's
He's
gorgeous
like,
feet.
Come take it off me.
Yeah, keep going, man. Oh, that would have been lovely to see if he could go all the way.
Man, it's looked like Lucas instilling fear from his opponents on the pitch.
That was ridiculous, actually.
Yeah, nobody wants to go in because they know they're going to take him down there, and it's going to be a pen. Yeah, Sunny. It was Sunny. That's totally wrong on there. Got a little bit of a fuzzy stream going on here. So, I may think it's Big Ange carrying the ball at some point. But as just to finish up that point I was making, man, I mean, I think Skippy has to have time in his legs, and he has to be there just in case he does stick around, and we do need him, and we do have to register him for Europe. But I wouldn't be surprised if he goes to Leicester. Oh, we get caught out there. I got very lucky. I don't know how they didn't put that one in. We were wide open to the back with no defenders.
Nearly
Austin
there.
left all by himself. I could see Skippy going on loan to a club like Leicester very quickly at the end of the window, and a loan because we're just not going to have time to get an actual deal done.
Mm-hmm. I liked your point about how if Ange is forced to use certain players that maybe he isn't the most comfortable with, he'd rather give them minutes now to see how they shape up, to see how they do play in whatever position he thinks he can try to squeeze them into if it is necessary. And it could be important to give them those minutes now because they're not going to probably get minutes much later in the season when he does want to play his better players and the guys that he trusts even more. It's actually a very well thought point and something that Dave and I probably don't like to think about as much because normally we just want to just get rid of some of these guys. But if you do have to keep them, or if you're forced to keep them, then this is something that sometimes a manager has to go for.
Ooh.
Kobe now have had 2 chances to try to equalize things. Spurs have all of a sudden got a bit sloppy again, and some dangerous counterattacks from Kobe. They probably could have done a bit better here.
Yeah, at least our defense is getting back into position a little bit earlier. It was very scary us getting caught out like that. That's the kind of thing with playing this high line, man. You got to be aware. Don't let that happen. Teams in the Prem will punish us on that and have. Skip playing it across to Emo. Emo into Poro. There is no press going on from Kobe right now. So the onus is on us to move that ball up the pitch. Going out to Sun wide. He sees. Okay, just to clarify, is that Donnelly, 42? Did I lose Jack? Am I up here?
No, sorry. Yeah, I'm just
Oh,
trying
yeah,
to
okay. So hey man, I couldn't see you there. I got a lot of screens open on the side here. So is that Donnelly, number 42? I think it
I'm
is.
not too sure if I've seen. I think it's Bergval. It
I
looks
think
like
on
we
the left.
have.
I think Donnelly's playing on the left.
Yeah, that is definitely Jamie Donnelly.
Yeah.
Just by his gait, you can tell. Kulusevski now playing on the right by the looks of things, or it's just again a very fluid system by Spurs where anybody can take up the striker role if necessary to just fill the position there. Pop Matasar playing it out wide to Emerson. Pedro Porro. Yeah, Kulu looks to be still playing through the middle, but Sonny's also playing in there. Donnelly's playing quite centrally. A lot of players kind of clogged up in the middle there. Sonny's now dropping very deep. It's interesting from Spurs.
Maybe so Madison's off, right? And it looks like, is it Bergvall taking up his position, or is Son dropping back into more of Madison's position?
Sonny's now playing through the middle. There's so much there's so much fluidity in the movement of and the positioning of some of these players. It is really hard to tell who's exactly supposed to be playing where.
Yeah. I'll call it fluidity. Some people might call it no idea what's going on.
Yeah, and plenty are saying that it could be just Donnelly playing at left back. But now that Donnelly's in the team instead of Davies, Donnelly we know is much more attack-minded, so he's going to be given that license to roam forward. But another dangerous opportunity for Kobe.
Right, not a cover, Skip. Yeah, and Skip does cover it. Thank you. Do your that's the basics of center back duties.
Good defending from Skippy there, but Spurs once again kind of sloppy.
Winning crosses.
Brendan Austin takes care of it. Some dangerous counterattacks, though, from Kobe. Good touch from Bergval.
Yeah, he can take those drill touches in very easily.
And it's lovely feet again.
Yeah.
He's just a quality player, Lucas Bergval, everyone. He really is.
Ice cold, J-Mac. Ice cold. That's how they breed him up there in Sweden.
He's playing like he's ice cold, despite the humidity, too.
Mm-hmm.
He even was pouring cold water on himself before the game. Maybe it was hot water. That's how cold he is. Out wide to Jamie Donnelly. Or sorry, Skippy. Now it's Donnelly. Kulusevski making a run in behind. Can he get there? It's out for a throw-in for Spurs down the left side. Mikey Moore and Solomon coming on.
Solomon coming on. Interesting. That's interesting. Kulu playing in the central role where he does drop back a little bit. It's like if the ball goes out wide, it gives him enough time to get his legs moving where he doesn't need the burst of pace, but he can get speed in to get forward and actually get into goal scoring position while the play is building up from the wings. That's something that, may come in handy. Whereas he doesn't have the burst of pace that we want to see on the wings when he's playing on the right side. He has the hold-up play. He can push people off, but, that's better in the center.
Sonny played very well here, everyone, and it was nice again to see him playing on the left side, where I think he belongs, where I think you get to see the best of him. And Mikey Moore gets to come on for him. Monor Solomon coming on. 60 minutes. Makes a lot of sense for Ange to go for more subs here at this point in the game. And the guys that he's really pushing in the heat, you'd say, are the players that are likely out the door this summer or potentially out the door. In the case of Emerson Royale, so far has played the majority of the minutes. Archie Gray has played the majority of the minutes, but he's a new signing and someone that Ange just wants to continue to get some eyes on. And Archie Gray also looks like he's playing deeper, right? He could be playing as a number 6, which is where I think he will be challenging Bissouma for this season. I'm not sure if Archie Gray is going to be used exclusively as a defender. Yeah,
especially if Spence is sticking around.
Lovely play from Pedro Porro, everybody. Could this lead to a goal here? Monor Solomon.
To
Donnelly! Off the post!
Yeah. A nice effort. It looked like their keeper had it covered.
God, Monor Solomon loves to create space for himself, only to then square it to somebody right afterwards. He could have easily taken a shot here. Gives it to Donnelly, though, and he hits it off of the post. Not even sure if it took a deflection or anything. Curls it Nearly scores, Jamie Donnelly, almost getting his first goal in a Spurs shirt. It's actually lovely play from Pedro Porro, too. It led to a dangerous attack. Pop Matasar. Can Spurs grab the third here? After maybe some little scares from Vissel Kobe earlier.
I'm wondering how long Poro's going to stay on the pitch, too.
Very good point.
Yeah, and you guys were talking about it in yesterday's predicted lineup. I think we saw a little bit more time on the pitch for a lot of these guys. I think you guys were
disgusting from
predicting.
Bergvall. Sorry,
Oh,
Mikey
wide
Moore.
open.
Oh,
Very, nicely done though. Good decision. It was a little bit late. He bobbled on the ball a little bit, but still,
Pedro Porro, did he take the right option by giving it to Moore, I wonder? He could have thought about Kulusevski. He could have thought about faking the pass to Moore. That's a handball almost from the J League player. Oh,
man,
Kulu,
we're in again here. We're slicing up this defense right now, man.
Kulu has been a wonderful target man and a wonderful hold-up guy for this game. And Bergvall, that pass that he even played into Pedro Porro was just ridiculous. Porro again, who's had a very good game today, Pedro Porro. He's quiet in the other games, actually, I'd say. We know his quality. We know how good he is, but he had been quiet, I think, in some of the other games. He's been brilliant here today. I also thought that was a pen too, Tyler, to be honest. My first thought was that it was a penalty because it looked like a handball. Sliding across to block it, but the defender did have his arms in a very natural position. But then again, the goalkeeper was definitely not saving that. Oh, just a moment here. Spurs give it away again, and it's a dangerous attack for Kobe. And they score. It's 2-2.
And it's a goal. What kind of challenge was that, Skippy?
It's Jean Patrick, the name that you were mentioning earlier.
Yeah. You had feet on that ball, Skip.
It's a bad giveaway again from Spurs. That's happened a couple of times this game. It is a poor giveaway. Ends up going out to the right side, one-on-one with Skip. Skip just misses the tackle entirely, really, there. That's just quite poor. Just gets absolutely skinned here by Jean Patrick. I mean, that's just too easy. And then it's a deflected finish. Brandon Austin, I'm not sure what he can do there. Takes a pretty bad deflection. It's hard to react to that. It's really actually poor from Skip. And it's a poor giveaway. It's not entirely Skip's fault, but it is poor defending from him to try to cover up for it. It's just a bad goal to concede. And again, it's a sign of the sloppiness from some of the other moments in this game. Just, we do well to create chances, and we do well to try to cut through them, but then there are just these random giveaways like that in really bad areas that then lead to really dangerous attacks. And they finally have punished us for it. That being said, I do think Spurs have played quite well for the majority of this game. It's just I'd like to see us start ridding that out of our game, Nick, because some of these bad giveaways that just are freebies, they do feel like freebies for the opposition when they are being outplayed. I mean, Kobe have been outplayed for the majority of this game, and then you just give them these kind of freebie goals like that. It's something we have to get rid of in our game. We were doing it last season during the regular season as well. It's something that's creeped into our game.
Yeah, well, hopefully this lights even more of a fire on. I mean, it looks like the youngsters we put on right now are out to prove something right here.
Mm-hmm.
More Bergvall. More is not afraid to take a shot. So, let's see some magic from him right now, I'm hoping. No, that ain't going to help anything. Donnelly with the poor touch sends it out for a Kobe throw.
Spurs have had 11 shots, 5 on target. Kobe have had 7 and 4 on target, 29% possession with Kobe to our 71%. Now, for the most part, I think Spurs have done well enough to probably go on and win this game, but now they've just let Kobe back into it. And they look tired, too, the Kobe team as well. I'd agree with Nick that they seem to have put a lot of their energy into that first half. And they looked leggy in the second, and all of a sudden they're back into it. Looks like George Abbott's on. Will Lankshire's on. Alfie Devine is on. Jed Spence is on here. Ashley Phillips is on. Lots of new players onto the pitch here. Jed Spence. Great strength. Divine. Oh, Lakeshire! No! Lakeshire nearly there. It's a great ball from Alfie Divine. It takes a tad of a deflection here. And maybe just too much of a deflection for Will Lancashire to be able to track it. But it's brilliant ball in from Divine. It's absolute scrumptious.
So is that Spence on? Did I miss a substitution?
Spence is on. So many subs just happened here.
Okay, yeah, sorry. My attention was diverted for a second. Sorry about that. Ropey pass, but Burval keeps it, man. And it goes out for a throw for us. Tin Man, yeah, rinse and Skippy. That, unfortunately, is a common theme these days. All right, so yeah, reset my understanding of what our lineup is right now. Who's playing up top? Did Kulu come off?
Kulu has come off. So many players have come off. You have Lankshire's on.
Right.
You have Mikey Moore on the right. You have Solomon on the left. You have Divine, Bergval, and now Skip in midfield.
So Archie Gray came off? Or Archie Gray's
trying to find him. It looks like he has.
I think that's him running through the middle right there. Calling for the ball.
That's Divine, I believe.
That's okay.
It's Alfie Divine making the. Here he is, Alfie Divine.
Yeah.
He's getting in another shot. God, he's been bright, man. In these past preseason games, I've said he's been impossible to ignore, Alfie Divine.
Mm-hmm.
Spence is a baller. Bergval's a baller, I agree. Solomon giving it away there. Skip with a hard man's tackle. Jamie Donnelly!
Oh, my Lord.
Nearly! Jamie Donnelly, that would have been disgusting. Oh, he's absolutely leathered
Dead
that.
on target. Dead on target, too.
Divine, what a brilliant hit. And Jamie Donnelly could have, would have been brilliant. This is, should be Lancashire, actually, right there. Now it's Mikey Moore.
Mikey Moore making the run in.
Oh,
Header.
Ashley Phillips.
Ashley Phillips. Everybody's putting in the effort right now, man. Everybody wants to
the
make
youngsters, man. They are hungry.
Yeah.
Oh, what a save! What a save! That's absolutely. He's perfectly hit that, Jamie Donnelly. I thought that was headed in. That's a ridiculous save, a crack save from the Vissel Kobe keeper. Unlucky for Jamie Donnelly. Out of all the finishes that we've seen this preseason, I feel bad for him there. I mean, how does that not gone in?
That would have been the goal of the preseason, without a doubt.
You're right. Archie Gray is in midfield. What is it about these kits, though, Nick, that I've absolutely had a howler today with any of the... Sometimes
you know what, man? Maybe
today,
it's the digital nature of them that if the stream gets a little fuzzy, you have a hard time. I personally like that font, that club font. I think it's classy. It's a little bit different. I dig it. I can see how it's not a lot of people's cup of tea. However, tough for them. But yeah, it may be a little bit hard to get a handle on a dodgy stream. It's a little bit thin. Water break.
66% now. Yeah, definitely needed a water break. Bergval too cold to maybe even need the water, some people would argue. There's Ange Postecoglou. I think he's lost some weight this summer, to be perfectly honest. I think maybe he's also participating in the warm summer training.
Yeah, well, managing Spurs will do that to you.
Maybe Spurs make you go grayer and make the waistline slimmer.
Yeah.
They have something to prove, says Shawnee Maddox.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's looking like it. Yeah, very interested to see Radu get back in and if he can work with Phillips. Yeah, the problem is as a normal human being, I like symmetry and balance. Neither of them is left-footed, but I mean, Radu can do a job. I'm just not fully convinced if he's an answer when we need a left-footed center back.
Mm-hmm.
But I am very anxious to get our normal starter backline in effect. And I'm really hoping we see Udogi in Korea.
Bergvall does really well to win the ball high up the pitch for us. Will Lancashire, good hold-up play.
Good job.
Skip. Into Devine. Into Bergvall. Great pass from Devine. Now it's out wide to Mikey Moore here. Jet Spence.
See Spence.
To Skip. It's in the central part of the midfield. Lovely ball by Skip, by Spence.
Very,
now,
very
no!
Oh, wow.
Really? Oh, my God. One of the goals of the preseason, nearly.
Yeah,
Such beautiful teamwork.
Looked like he just couldn't stretch his leg out in time.
Skip, Donnelly,
Interesting back and
Devine,
forth.
Lancashire.
Being
He's
held
being
up by the
dragged down
defender
as well,
too.
Lancashire. Almost a penalty there.
Yeah, very close.
Oh, it's wonderful play. It's absolute
Held at
gorgeous
the
play.
shirt by the defender, man. I don't know.
I'd argue too, Rudy, too. I wonder if that is a penalty. I mean, Lancashire did make a case for it, and he was being pulled back. Hard to say, but he was being pulled back. It was just, I mean, again, these are 18-year-olds that are just absolutely slicing through these guys. That was all one-touch passing as well. Devine, it started with him and Bergvall. Lovely play between the two of them, just squeezing it through the lines of the midfield. And it's just Bergvall's first touch. It's just gorgeous at times. It's just scintillating. He really is just a cold, cold player, like people said. Cold Bergvall, ice cold. There's the Japanese Spurs fans, as well as probably any other Spurs fans that have made their way out there.
Yeah.
Out in voice, people were saying they were loud earlier during the game, which I'm happy to hear. Monner Solomon leading an attack. Pretty much all on his own here.
Yeah, he needs options. Somebody's
does
got
well
to
enough,
show
though.
Closer for him. Yep, he holds on to it. To Lucas.
Skippy. Jet Spence.
Spence playing inverted. Picks up the ball. Out to Mikey.
Skippy. Bergvall. Does well enough to
well with Skip's crap.
Cover up for Skip's crap, and is exactly right. Ashley Phillips is giving it out wide to Alfie Devine, who once again has just really made me, as well as Ange Postecoglou, have to think about him. He's forcing people to think about him, Alfie Devine. Jet Spence. Bergvall tries to spin it and tries to turn there. He's got to be offside. Finally, the referees lift up a flag. Yeah. It's taken a while, it feels like.
No, and then they broke through a little bit too easy, even though he was offside.
Bergvall, the iceberg, says Fat Tony. The Swedish iceberg. Lancashire is not looking out of place at all. I'm very excited, says Davy Shire. I mean, what do you make of Will Lancashire, Nick? Do you like the look of him? Do you think he has
I didn't know a whole lot other than some scouting reports that Davo did earlier in the season. But it looks like he has all the attributes right now. I'm just not so sure. People are saying we got to keep him on the squad. I don't know. I mean, what does it say if we do keep him? I like him. I don't think there would be anything wrong with keeping him, but we do have other young center forward choices right now. So who goes out on loan? Who stays? I think it may be genius to keep him. But are we trying to save money by keeping him in the first team?
I'll say this, like, I wish I looked like Lancashire did when I was 18 or 19. The kid
Oh.
looks like an absolute man at like 18 or 19. He's got the shoulders of a 29-year-old, and he just has the frame of like a young Harry Kane. Really, it's very impressive. He, for a young player, he doesn't look actually all that young physically, really. He looks
Yeah.
very strong. I even made the joke to Dave that you could probably send him anywhere on loan. You could send him to a League One club, and I think he would actually hold his own against,
Hmm.
big, tall defenders and nasty, kind of mean, ugly, lower, kind of pyramid of English
And
football defenders. Like or he could even do like like a Stuttgart loan or something like
yeah,
that. He
yeah,
just sort of feels like he'd suit anything.
yeah. And I kind of think that maybe he needs a little bit of that rough and tumble of the championship right now. Uh, if there is a team that'll take him, because he's been straight through the academy his whole career, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he's been playing in
We got him from Sheffield United, and now he's come through our academy. Monter Solomon,
Solomon with a
he's
shot
got to do
right into
better
a
there.
defender.
Gets another opportunity, Solomon does.
And
He's got to do better there again. Poor from Solomon. Bit wasteful. He's had few chances there. Davy Shire gifting out a membership to Fat Tony. Thank you, Davy Shire and Fat Tony. Please, sir, if you have the time this Monday or any coming Mondays for the next month, you have 4 fan shows completely free on Davy Shire there. So please take advantage of at least one of them. Would love to have a chat with you. Would love to meet you. Dave and I, we do not bite. And like we said earlier, there's no such thing as a bad debut. You can even go camera off. I know that's sometimes the thing that people can be a bit hesitant about. Do you want to do the whole show? Do you want to show the beautiful face and the beautiful voice? Maybe just show off the beautiful voice and have a chat with Dave or I. So please, anybody that's been gifted a membership by Mr. Davy Shire, please take advantage of it. He's been very, very generous. And the fan shows are something that Dave and I really do enjoy doing. Something I think is kind of unique to this channel and how often we do them and the way that we do them. So please take advantage of it.
uh,
Bergvall. Saucy
but
again. Mikey Moore, or
he's
Lancashire,
offside.
sorry.
Yeah, he's
Offside.
offside, man. And you're being a little disingenuous there, Jack. I mean, both you and Dave, you're wonderful people, lovely guys. But if a fan covers themselves in chocolate, Dave may have a go.
That's when Dave starts biting.
Mm.
Or if what's anything with brown sauce or curry sauce, and Dave's all of a sudden he'll be all over you. Dave always adamant about the brown sauce with anything. Jamie Donnelly. Divine is impressing again. Yes, he is, J Mac. Archie Gray. He's done well. It's out wide to Bergvall. Wonderful first touch. I mean, has he ever had a bad first touch in his life?
I haven't seen him. Possibly no, but man, not in a Spurs shirt yet, man. I mean, let's not set this kid up for a fall, but damn, he does look good.
Spurs building out from the back. Ooh, good attempt, but could lead to a dangerous attack. Just doesn't have the pace to get past Gray. Into Donnelly. Now it's back to Solomon. Jamie Donnelly, also credit to him, everyone, for being able to play at left back despite his probably want and desire to play as more of a creative midfielder in positions that he might find more suitable to him. He's actually done a job at playing at left back. He's been unselfish to do that. He just wants to try to impress Ange Postecoglou whatever way he can. Very proud of Jamie Donnelly for how he's played in a position I didn't even think he would be able to play. It's also a credit to his tactical intelligence, his positional intelligence to be able to do it. Nearly scored as well today. bit more control has been gained by Spurs in the second half. Skip with it. Just
Yep, man, ricocheting off
Skip is
defense, opposition.
ooh,
And
Ashley
basically give
Phillips with a
possession
loose
away.
touch, but that's just an example of maybe what people do complain about with guys like Skip. Some people would throw that on Højbjerg's doorstep, Emerson's doorstep from the past, right? Guys who just don't suit the Ange Postecoglou system, and that would be an example of it. Skip, for no reason at all, just gives it away there, and it led to a dangerous counterattack for Kobe. Luckily, they didn't make much of it. Lancashire, good hold-up play, good strength. Able to get into Kobe's half here, down the right side. Skip. To Divine. Can he whip in another dangerous cross? Instead, he ricochets it off of Jed Spence.
Yeah.
Do you think Jed Spence truly stands a chance of keeping in the squad, staying in the squad this season?
You know, it solves some problems, but brings up other questions though. If he does, but you know what? Like it can't hurt. You know, if the attitude problems, etc., have changed. Then we've got something unexpectedly. It's a windfall. On our hands. I think he does stand a chance. Frankly, I think that's why he's out on this trip right now. And has probably pulled him aside and said, guess what? Here's your chance. Don't fuck it up. Yeah, and as I say, it's how he works with Johnson is the next step.
Lancashire and behind here. Still Lancashire, not enough on the pass.
You know what? I mean, not the worst decision, but just not a mature decision, frankly. Unless it had a hell of a lot more power on it.
Yeah, it needed to be well executed there to get to Jed Spence, and it just wasn't. Jed Spence would have definitely scored from it if he was able to get it there. He makes those good runs in behind Lancashire, and he has good hold-up play, but that was a good opportunity to show a bit of composure. Spence will be in the squad. He's putting in the work, says Michael W. I would like to see Spence.
I really hope so. And one of the weird things about this whole Spence thing is he's one where the fan base is all behind him.
Yeah.
The fan base wants to see him succeed, wants to see him on the team, wants to see him play. And they haven't since he's come on. And he's his whole personal situation has divided some opinion, but I don't think anybody really thinks he's a terrible footballer.
Mm-hmm. I love the video that Dave and I did, because in our title we say, does Spence deserve a second chance? And I think 90% of the comments saying, you idiots, he didn't even get a first chance.
He hasn't had a first chance. As young as he is too, man, he's still a kid. Sometimes you need to be dislodged from your home base, from where you're comfortable, get the putzes out of your social circle, and go to another country and do the hard graft there. And Girona obviously saw something that they liked. That says something there.
Oh, dangerous.
Man, absolutely, man. How that didn't go in, I just don't know. Nice ball in from Spence there.
It's poor from Solomon again. I must say. He's had a couple of chances to score, and he just hasn't taken it. Mikey Moore just causing problems. Jed Spence and him have also had such a good relationship down this right side. Him and Spence just are... They're just, it's like they played together for a whole season.
Which is odd. I mean, it's a weird, odd chemistry, but it's working a treat.
It's kind of like what Dave and I said in the match preview. It's strange that Spence and Moore have played together better than Porro and Johnson have, considering Porro and Johnson had literally a whole season together down that right side. Jamie Donnelly with a foul. Earns a free kick there. Helping up the Kobe man. Bergvall. But yeah, it's been fun to watch Mikey Moore and Spence. It's been so good that it would be hard to break that up now. Like, it's just been such a good impact sub for us, these two together. Good play. Dominly does well to get it back to Solomon. Solomon, man, you have a good run from Alfie Devine. He's been frustrating this game, Solomon. Donnelly, Bergvall. God, he's good. Never mind. There's his first mistake. Tried to clip Devine. It was the right idea. Just couldn't execute it. Spence does well, covering up for his own mistake there. And he plays Mikey Moore, just a little too heavy. Spence too,
Yeah.
like a couple of times, even when he's given it away, wins it right back, shown some strength to shove, players off of the ball. He's been immense this preseason.
You put Spence and Mikey Moore in a newly promoted team or a lower team in the Prem, and they're nailed on starters right now.
Mm-hmm.
Davo, I'm hoping. I want to see more of Dane Scarlett because I'm convinced he's part of the fill up the homegrown, the academy trained problem we got to solve.
Oh, come on!
Oh,
3-2.
it probably worked.
Should be
They
3-1, but it's 3-2, and it's Mikey
Yeah.
Moore again on the goal scoring sheet. You can't ignore this guy, and he was my prediction just recently with Dave. I think this kid is special. This guy is going to end up playing many more minutes than you'd expect. You can't ignore him. He's playing so well no matter who he's up against, and now he scored, and he's scoring in the UK, he's scoring in Scotland, now he's scoring in Japan with a square ball from Jamie Donnelly as well, of all people.
The way we're playing right now, too, is it's very much like what Ange Ball was described to me as when Ange came in, which is a lot of people in the box, a lot of congestion, moving it forward, but in a deliberate and accurate way. And we saw that in the last couple of near goal attempts, and it finally came off correctly this way. But, is there something about what you guys have been talking about, which is when you put the youth out there, they're a little bit easier to coach into a particular way of playing as opposed to the senior guys who you kind of have to coach their previous experience out of them to get them to play in a certain way. I don't know. Maybe spitball and maybe pure speculation on that. But I'm seeing more of Ange ball when these guys are playing in these second halves of these preseasons.
I have been seeing it more often in the second half, and I also do think part of it has to do just with the younger players have more of that simple understanding of they have to play the way Ange wants them to in order for them to get noticed, and also in order for Ange to trust them. They can't do things on their own. They can't go rogue. They can't be selfish. They have to work hard for each other. They have to show that defensive desire as well. And you might just get more pure Ange ball, if you want to put it in that sort of term, from some of these younger players. They're more willing to do what he is asking of them. There's that naivete or that just trust from young players that they're not going to go against the orders. They're not going to go against what you're asking. And they've just played so well here. And that was another brilliant goal from the younger players, just combining so well. Jamie Donnelly to Mikey Moore as an assist and a goal is just beautiful to see. Something that Dave, I bet, is just crying right now watching, maybe while he's still waking up this morning from his pre-match buildup, because it's just wonderful to see, to even be saying it out loud. An assist from Jamie Donnelly to Mikey Moore. Amazing. The academy we have, the young players we have, scintillating. So many good players, and wonderful to see these two score.
Yeah, we're getting into the dying embers of the match too here, but I fully expect a press for another goal. And Skip on the overlap right now decides not to run with it. Probably a good decision.
Oh,
Puts
Mikey!
Moore in a terrible position, but Moore does something with it.
Jesus, Mikey. That's him and Bergvall have absolutely taken some people's lives today with some of the skills, as well as at one point, I think it was Archie Gray, too. Archie Gray had some ridiculous feet. Then again, Bergvall gives it away here unnecessarily.
Never say die attitude, playing very deep, too, with Skip.
John
he's
Patrick.
Skip going forward is what it is.
Dangerous from Bergvall to try to play out from there, and he did get picked off there. Maybe got a little confident. We've been talking him up. But last 2 minutes here, and Spurs did get the winner. I'm glad they did. They deserved it. The 2 goals that we conceded were kind of out of our own making as well. So it's nice to see that Spurs have gone on to win things.
Davo making a point there. Yeah, I haven't, he hasn't really Phillips dazzled the eye or anything like that. I don't know if that's, just because of the way the play has played itself out. Or is it just he's being a bit anonymous? Kobe stealing possession from us. Jean Patrick on the break, little kick out. Spence there with a phenomenal block. Phenomenal block to take that cross away from him. Good job, Jed boy.
Thank you for all the support today, Davey Shire. Thanks for being with me and Nick throughout this watch along. I think you might have been earlier with Dave during the pre-match build-up. You've been very good to us, sir. We really appreciate it. Thanks for also as well. I mean, you've gone through plenty of these watch-alongs during crazy times like it is for me right now. It's 4:49 a.m. Start the watch-along at 2:30 a.m. I mean, you've had to do this on a regular basis. You, Ribsy85, so many people. So shout out to all the Australian listeners, all the listeners in that region of the world, or anybody who has to get up at crazy o'clock on a regular basis. Monter Solomon nearly does really well there. This was fun though. Like, I don't know, maybe I'm more relaxed at this ridiculous time in the evening where my expectations all of a sudden lower a bit. I just think this is another pretty good preseason display from Spurs.
I agree, man. I agree. I'm seeing, what I want to see. And like I said, I'm not expecting a whole heck of a lot defensively because of who we have out. But I want to see clicking in the midfield towards the forward. I want to see most of the game played in the opposition's half. I don't want to see a lot of horseshoe ball, and I don't think that we've been seeing that. But, I mean, Dave Shire, Bayern's going to be a whole different kettle of fish. We're going to have, by that time, I fully expect Radu, Romero, hopefully Udogi, and certainly VDV.
And that is full time. Someone has gone down to the ground afterwards. I wonder who, but
a little bit tired, man.
A little bit leggy, feeling hot. I mean, Sonny even looks again gorgeous, despite the heat. But even him and Ben Davies definitely showing the signs of heat there. Mike Moore, I mean, this kid just continuing to score, he's just a talent. Like this guy, he's just our own bright spark. People would say he's our own Lamine Yamal. It's just ridiculous to see this kid just saucing people at 16 years of age and just being so hard to ignore. Good displays again from the majority of the people, majority of the youngsters in the second half. I liked Alfie Devine. I liked others. I liked Bergvall once again. He looked great. He looked fine. And Sonny, too. He looked really good out on the left. It was fun to see Sonny back in his natural element on the left wing where he can really cause damage and problems. I thought Kulusevski played really well down the middle in the first half. I think that does need to be remembered and mentioned again.
Absolutely.
And, apart from maybe defensively, like you mentioned, Nick, where it was a bit sloppy at times from bad giveaways and just, occasionally not so great of last, kind of ditch efforts to try to defend it, aka Pop Mopsar's goal. But for the most part, I think some of the goals we were creating, some of the moves we were creating, it was very handball, and it was positive to see.
Yeah, man. There's a lot to look forward to right now. And I think that this preseason so far has been the polar opposite of the last one as far as the calendar being beneficial to us, despite the fact that it's on the other side of the world, we have the right amount of games and is a good amount of betting in time for young people that we haven't seen, that haven't had time to play with the older staff right now. And you know what? Our seasoned defenders, they need the time off, So, there's a lot to look forward to. We got 3 more. Is it 3 more or more preseason matches? It's 3, right? K-League and 2 Bayern, right?
We have the K-League next. What are we playing Wednesday? We should be playing the K-League All-Stars this Wednesday, and then Bayern after that, and then another Bayern game back in London, if I remember correctly. So we still have 2 more crazy o'clock watch-alongs for you guys. Please join us for them. But I've really enjoyed trying to get a clue into what it's like to get up at these crazy times of hours like you guys do. For the most part, I think Spurs, this is probably something you guys have maybe look forward to when you do have to get up at crazy o'clock. It's nice to see Spurs playing attacking football, actually create some nice moves. It's not just horseshoe football like Nick mentioned at one point. It was entertaining to watch, and it kept me awake, and I enjoyed it. It was scintillating at times. Yes, there were some sloppy moments, but for the most part, I really had a lot of positives to take from the performance. So I'm very happy to see how Spurs played, considering.
Yeah, man, and big up to Dark Sun G.
Hey,
And men like Ribsy, people that lived on the upside down part of the planet, because we're getting to experience, empathize what it's like to be Spurs fans with that extra heart to get up extra early.
indeed. And he says, "Come on, you Spurs! Happy to see Mikey Moore get on the score sheet yet again." He's just, I mean, what can you do, Nick? Like, other than just continue to play him? I feel like you can't put him out on loan. You have to give this guy minutes this next season because he's just doing what he's supposed to do. He's giving Ange something to think about, and he's popping up on the score sheet. He's getting assists. He's doing things differently on the right side than maybe how Johnson would or how Timo Werner would. I brought that up as a positive. Like, I think it's good to have two different options, guys that might be a bit more pace oriented, will look to try to get him behind, where someone like Mikey Moore has just a different element to his game than maybe Timo Werner does or Solomon does or Johnson does. I just think he's a breath of fresh air, this kid.
Yeah, I mean they provide he and Spence together too just provide a threat. We can have Porro and Johnson, and if you want those to be your nailed on starters, that's fine. But right now, with the way things look, if we're going into the 65th, 70th minute and it's bring on Mikey Moore instead of Johnson, or earlier than that, if you like, man, I'm getting excited. I'm not worried. I'm getting excited right now. That's a whole different feeling, man. And if we bring Spence, and if he's the man, same feeling, man. Imagine the option of being able to go to the bench and bring on Spence instead of Emo.
Yeah.
It's a
And
whole new world.
it's been a whole new world just even seeing just youngsters like this, right? Be the impact subs, be guys that can change the game for us, Dark Sun G. And I bet you were also happy to see, as I know Dave was, to see Jamie Donnelly, the one who assisted our man Mikey Moore, is a brilliant assist. And he also nearly scored an absolute worldie, Jamie Donnelly, with a first time hit, sort of volley situation from a deflected shot. It was kind of all of a sudden out of nowhere, a bit kind of improvised from Jamie Donnelly, and it was an excellent hit. He nearly scored. He also hit one off of the post as well. He probably should have scored, Jamie
Yeah,
Donnelly. Not saying he,
yeah,
executed it poorly. He just got unlucky on two
yeah.
occasions, actually. So it's just wonderful to see these guys flowing, these younger players. And then he also says this is the best. This has been the best preseason for our youth in a long time. I mean, I can't even think of a better preseason ever for our youngsters, Nick. And I can't even think of that many times in preseasons where we had this many youngsters to be excited about. I mean, another reason to be happy as a Spurs fan, I think, is just the fact that even if the first team is playing poorly, we have all these youngsters that can come on and show them how it's done.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. It puts a little bit of spring in your step, and just gives you a little hope that we are going in the right direction after years of doldrum and not sure if this club had a plan. But we see a plan going forward right now.
Yeah. And Dark Sun G, I think plenty of people on Twitter have joked about they're missing the days of, I think it was like Giorgio, on the bench, who
George
was the
Field.
guy.
Yeah, I had a lot of hope for that kid, man.
Some of the other players of the past. I'm trying to think. There are some other brilliant names of the past. Tom Carroll maybe was one of them.
Yeah,
Some other youngsters we could also think of that never really got their fair chance, Dark Sun G, but there was just so little to pick from. It felt like back then there was so little to pick from. Whereas now, I mean, it's just ridiculous. I feel bad even for guys like Alfie Devine, who I've practically forgotten about even before this preseason until he showed up. And then he's forced me to remember him. He's forced me to think about him. And that's how spoiled we are at this moment with all the talented youngsters that we have in the team that even we're forgetting about. At least I am about even some of them. That's how many we have to pick from. It really is amazing. And this preseason, Nick, like you brought up earlier too, right? Can't read too much into it. It's not really been a preseason to get all that stressed with how we've been playing compared to other clubs like Chelsea, who are losing in their first games, Liverpool losing, Man United losing to a Swedish team. I know you can't read too much into
Yeah,
it.
you can't read too much into that too. But what we want to see, though, in my opinion, though, what we want to see from the preseason, we have been getting. We a team that is starting to gel together and actually get results and feels confident about how they're playing together and what the manager is asking them to do. That's what we want to see in the preseason. And if that's not happening, we can go, okay, well, it's preseason. We've had this, and this. But hey, we don't have to sit on that. You know what it is? It's a great distraction from the transfer bullshit. essentially, from not having to worry about us not making the right moves with the money being spent and having a bit of distraction. Say, hey, look, we're actually playing good football. So let's not think about that
Yeah.
until the end of August when we all start jumping out the window.
Well said. Nick Brown says Moore is certainly a magnificent prospect. I hope he develops into a star. Skip was gashtastic, says Alexander Villara. Skip certainly made you grimace at times. Adam Phillip saying the first half was shit. I don't know, Adam. Like, I feel like there were some positives from the first. Yeah, I can understand. It could be a bit better, but there were some positives. Like Jamie Donnelly, sorry, not Jamie Donnelly, Kulusevski, I thought was a huge positive from the first half. He looked good playing through the middle, playing as a striker. I don't think he could have played much better. And then also Sonny. I mean, what a refreshener to see him playing on the left wing and not down the middle as a striker, because he was really fairly dangerous on that left wing.
And looking comfortable and not frustrated at it either.
Great word.
I'll bring it up again. His work with Madison looks like something solid and dependable right now.
I'd agree. And Sonny, I mean, he's not someone to always show on his face what he's thinking, but sometimes he did do that a bit as a striker, where he did look out of ideas,
in the last two
frustrated.
seasons, I would say. In the last 2 seasons, you could see a frustrated and somewhat perturbed Son Heung-min, which nobody wants to see.
And Spurs fan John, good to see you, John. Hopefully you're keeping well, sir. Saying really enjoyed that second half. Some lovely football by the youngsters yet again, John. They've been just making us think about them. They're making us sing their praises, and that's exactly what we want to be doing. Darkson G said this is why Ange is the perfect manager for us fans. If you are a fan, Nick, that wants to see attacking football, which plenty of Spurs fans asked for under the days of Antonio Conte and Jose Mourinho, and also combined with the fans that wanted to see more emphasis on the youngsters, because, me and Dave and plenty of people, when things got really bad under Jose and Conte, you do start to go back to the basics of, I just want to see attacking football. I want to see youngsters be given a chance. I want to see people who actually care about the club out on the pitch. And Ange has been delivering that. Whether you like him or you love him, he has been delivering that.
Yeah, I agree 100%, man. It's... I like the fact that we have a progression in this preseason too, because as everybody says, Bayern Munich is going to be a different kettle of fish altogether. I think moving from a well drilled and in the middle of their season team that know what they're doing with each other, Vissel Kobe, we proved to be the dominant side on there, even though they are a team of seniors. Going into the K-League one, this is an all-star team, even though they're in the middle of the season. Again, it's an all-star team. They're going to be all over the place, as they should be. We should be able to, if we have a couple of our senior players back in there, be able to dance right through them, especially if Udogi's in there. I really hope he is. So, and Dragison's starting, so we have a bit more solidity and people get used to what a normal starting 11 setup is like. And hopefully we dominate possession and are able to score straight through them, and then make that natural progression in the same town without having to get on a plane and then play Bayern Munich.
Give me more, says Thomas. Adam Phillip as well. Talking about, I reckon he won't sign for us if he knows something on the line. Sorry, maybe that's a different comment. Rainman saying Lankshears are only 9 right now, and frankly, I trust him over Richarlison. The only concern with these young men is if they have the stamina for a Premier League game, because they do have the quality. Though that's a fair point actually with the younger players, right? Do they know how to be able to condition themselves to play the whole 90 minutes? Do they have that tendency to put all their energy in the first half and then sort of kind of tire out in the second? That can definitely happen. It's a fair point. And Lankshear, I like Lankshear. He, like I said, he has the look of a 27-year-old man, despite being only 18 or 19. And he looks physically good enough to probably not even get bullied really by most Premier League defenders. But you wonder, like you say there, is he kind of stamina-wise good enough to be able to do it? And Richarlison, whether you like him or you love him, Richarlison, that's one of his best attributes is actually the stamina.
Yeah. I mean, I think that if anything, Lancashire, as I was saying, I don't mind him being part of the first team. It's just I don't think that he's ready to put all that weight on his shoulders, and that's why a man like Kulu is being given more time down the middle. I expect to see more of it in Korea. If Richie's not ready, I just got this strange feeling that maybe we don't see Richie on the pitch again ever. I
He
just
ends up being
in the
sold.
back of my head, and and Ange is trying to account for that possibility.
I wonder if Ange has an issue with guys who do pick up the injuries a bit too often, because that was definitely the case with Lo
Because
Celso,
you
where
can't rely on him,
yeah,
then you can't when you're trying to put a team sheet together. What are you going to do?
he did
You
that
know,
with Lo Celso, where he was playing him initially, and then Lo Celso picked up those injuries really at a bad time when he really needed Lo Celso to not pick up injuries. And you wonder if once that happens, Ange just feels like you say there, he just can't trust them. And Richarlison, as well as Richarlison played last year, did pretty much the same thing. Times when we did need him, ends up picking up the injuries at the worst possible timing. And it's something that a manager then has to reconcile with. Is that someone who I can truly trust for a whole season? We also have, I believe, Truth Sets You Free saying Tottenham were denied 2 clear penalties. That's fair. Definitely in the case with Lancashire, that's for sure. Pick up to Truth Sets You Free. MV Joker Davis saying, I think Mikey Moore by halfway through the season will displace Johnson as a starting right winger. Well, I'd love to see the members send in their predictions ahead of the season, and that's not a bad hot take there from our man Edward. Stevie D says, some of these kids look very good, but let's stay balanced. We've not kicked a ball in anger yet or against any quality opposition. True. Certainly some of them do look like very good prospects. Steve D providing some balance, but you got to be excited, isn't it, Steve? You get to see this exciting football, but then also get to see youngsters like Mikey Moore, Donley, so many exciting prospects delivering what Ange is wanting on the pitch despite being so inexperienced and everything. It's amazing to see these youngsters playing his style of football.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, man, just a thought on the whole Johnson versus Mikey Moore thing. It's, Mikey Moore may be the perfect foil to come in and push Johnson forward. Whereas, I don't know. We're talking about Chiesas, yeah, which I know some people may disagree, but I think would be a fantastic move because the man can put in a cross, he can get to the byline and put in a cross. I'm a little bit concerned about his defensive work, but if we don't go for a Chiesa, Mikey Moore may be the perfect type of person to push Johnson on because Moore's got the bit in his teeth and he looks ready to go, but Johnson may not be as intimidated and may not go hiding in the shadows. Whereas if we bring in something who's definitely a level above Johnson, it may hurt his development.
No, in the case of Johnson versus Mikey Moore, what I like is that they're so different from each other, and there's a strength in that, and that you can have something very different off of the bench with Mikey Moore if what Johnson is providing just simply isn't working. They're just such different players from each other. Terry Betts saying Mikey Moore will play in the first team this season. He is going nowhere. He's just a wonderful talent, and he deserves to be given minutes, if you ask me, Terry. And then Darkson G saying Devine was unlucky not to get 2 assists with Lankshire's getting 2 goals. Now we can see which position we need a left back to compete with Udoji and Richarlison competition. Let's start first with the left back. Jamie Donnelly does a fine job again, Nick, but it's worrying, right, that Ange Postecoglou doesn't really trust Ben Davies out there by the looks of things. Doesn't really probably want to play Jamie Donnelly there too much. It's still an area that needs addressing.
Yeah, I know, but it's that's another where I think it's going to be a fail-safe scenario in that we know VDV can cover. We do have to shuffle around. Archie Gray, I guess he can play as a center back too. We haven't seen him on the left side as left back or left side center back. So I'm a little concerned that we're not going to fill in the second player for each position the way we need to, and we're going to rely on some of these kids to fill in those things. May be a benefit, may not work out, but I have a feeling that's kind of where things are going to go right now. We've all heard about these. There's 3 big signings still coming in, and we've got this big amount of money. That's emerged in the last 48 hours that, hey, guess what? There's this big pot war chest that we've still got to spend. Still throws me off. I don't believe it. I don't. When has that ever been the Tottenham administration's MO to go out and say, hey, guess what? We've got a lot of money to spend. That's never the case. That seems like somebody's just pulling that out of their butt to get clicks. But, who knows? It may be that we have to dump a whole bunch of money on a center forward and bring in another position, and we leave some of those defensive backup positions to the kids.
Mm-hmm. And then Richie competition, you just alluded to the fact that you don't think Richie will be around. So what sort of competition will we have in the striker role this summer, Nick?
Yeah, but the only, if Richie's not, it's Kulu's not the 100% answer down the middle, without a doubt. We know that. You're not going to have Kulu and Lancashire as it. I don't think Ange is going to be happy with that. I'm just pure speculation. I just got the feeling that Richie may be on his way out as the wind's been blowing that way. And it's going to be a recognized forward, maybe a Tony, maybe somebody else with Kulu and somebody from the academy. I personally think it's going to be more Scarlet than it is Lancashire. But, I may be proved wrong in this preseason.
Yeah. And with Richie Darkson G, I'd be really sad to see him go. I am with you where I think I'm a fan of his. I think you are as well, Darkson G. And I feel like Sonny and him had such a good relationship with each other that last year, with Sonny out on the left and then Richie down the middle. And he was effective in a lot of games. We do need competition for him. We need someone that we can... Here's some DJ noise in the background.
That's my bad, man. Hit the wrong button there.
That's okay. Darkson G, though, I must say, Richarlison, I just think he deserves, another chance this next year. I think he played well enough last year, really. And he deserves some opportunities and deserves competition too, though. He can't just be the only lone man up there. And it can't be Richie and Kulusevski. I think it should be Richie and someone else, and Kulusevski as another alternative, if need be, to play down the middle. And Kulusevski gave us a lot to think about down the middle, Darkson G. I thought he played really well. He had good hold-up play. I liked his link-up play as well. He worked hard. We know he's good out of possession. He works hard for the team. And he's been involved in the goals, whether it's been... most of the time it's been assists. I think only assists so far, but an assist is an assist. It's part of creating a goal. He's been very good so far, Darkson G. And I really have liked Divine. He's given me a lot to think about. I even forgot about him, to be honest, in this preseason in general. And I just liked a lot of what I've seen from him, to be perfectly honest. And left back competition, it was one of my biggest priorities. Not really seeing much movement in the market or much rumors about it. Hopefully it does happen, because I think it's more necessary than even bringing in another right back or anything like that. I think we could almost get away with Archie Gray as an inverted fullback, or Jed Spence, who we already know is playing so well. What's the point of even going for another right back at this moment? We should be looking at more left back targets for me personally. Davey Shire says, these young players, wow, can't wait to see them against Bayern. Come on, you Spurs. That's a real litmus test, right? Them against Bayern, but you have to give them credit so far, Davey Shire. I know you are, but I am excited to see them against that sort of type of quality opposition. Nick, I mean, how do you think they will fare against a team like that? Do you think they'll continue to shine, or will they get humbled?
That's a good question, man. Like I'm a little bit, I'm not so sure. I don't know where Bayern are in their preseason yet. Let's keep in mind, man, they got a brand new manager that I don't know if anybody's too sure about how Mr. Company's going to do with this team. I think, especially in Korea, right now, we have every chance of giving them a damn good game, even with who we've got right now, as long as our defense is a little more solidified. I think we have every chance of giving them a game. I think we're going to be very evenly matched, frankly, when it comes right down to it.
Against a Bayern of Vincent Kompany, think about it as just a Burnley with maybe better players last year, Davey Shire. I wonder if Vincent Kompany will be any better with better players around him, or maybe it could be another 4-1, 5-1 thumping like we gave them the other times, because Ange Postecoglou really did have Vincent Kompany's number. It felt like that last year is one of the teams that we actually felt like we played a lot better against than some of the others, and we played them towards the end of the season, and it felt like we had at least, some better football against them. So it should be an open end-to-end game, and I'm excited to see how those youngsters play. What we can count on is when the first team doesn't seem to play well in the first half, the second half has been usually full of youngsters who have really shined. And I hope to see that again. Big up to you, Davy Shire. I've really appreciated your support throughout these last few days, and this whole year and beyond in general. You've been very good to us. And Darkson G and yourself, I know have to get up. I'll say it 1,000 times, but are experiencing it for the first time, getting up at crazy o'clock to watch these games, and you guys do it on a regular basis. And I'm glad that you guys can finally watch it at slightly more normal times, and you can really enjoy the games yourselves at a more normal evening time instead of just at the crazy o'clock hours. Appreciate you. And Kevin Ferguson saying, Darkson G earlier saying Harvey White and Dennis Sirkin were some of the names I was looking for earlier of the youngsters that we felt like, deserved more minutes and deserved more chances, but it still spoke to just how little there was really to pick from. Daryl Bradford saying Solomon was anonymous. I am not bailing on Brennan, though. The guy scores goals and makes assists. He just needs to be more clinical. Thoughts on those two guys? Because they have received a lot of criticism in general.
Yeah, I wouldn't go as
Johnson.
far as saying Solomon was anonymous. I think that he was trying to make himself felt. It wasn't coming off. I think he had some good moves forward. He got through up into a point, which is what we've seen from him in the past when we have seen him on the pitch. It's like once he gets through the midfield, once he gets to a tight, compact defense, he can't find a way, or he makes an odd decision of who to pass to. So, he's been out for a long time. We got to see a bit more of him. Frankly, I wouldn't be surprised if he's out the door before the end of the window closes too, frankly. Johnson, though, I'm on the give Johnson a lot more time. Give him another full season before you really make your opinion solid and concrete about him. I know, we've had a lot of patience as a fan base over many decades, and our patience is running thin, particularly with a lot of players. But I still think Johnson has the capability to come good.
And as well, in the case of the trophy that we might have won. Chamu Van Woo saying champions of Japan. And Rainman saying, is this yet again another trophy? Does the cabinet need to be extended? Looks like it does with the trophies that the youth have won, with all these preseason trophies we keep collecting. It's good news, very good news. DJ Samuel, he's celebrating, got the pom-poms together. He's running through Japan, he's cheering. Big up to you, DJ. Hopefully you're having a fun summer, my friend. And I think that's what Nick and I would be doing if we were in the streets of Japan right now. We'd be probably organizing a march, organizing a nice Spurs parade, and we'd be running through with our pom-poms, celebrating and enjoying the evening. There have been fireworks out in Japan, TJ Samuel, for this game. They've really shown out for us. Yeah. They've given us a full display. They've given us a full display of support. And great job by Dave for mentioning this in the chat. And I've tried to mention it a couple of times during the show. If you have heard, please, everybody, fan show members, elite show members, send in your fan cams. If you did watch the game, if you do have a lot to say on it, we would like to see it up on the channel because it's an extra perk for you guys. And we really think that it should be pushed this season. I look forward to the fan cams throughout the regular season, but it'd be nice to get it going. It'd be nice to get it started during this preseason. So if you have any thoughts, if you have any analysis on this game that you feel like is being missed, or you just want to get your voice out there, please take advantage of it and send those over. We'll put the instructions for it in the community section for all you lovely people. Dark Sun G saying, Yang Min Hook will play against us. I hope he scores against us and we beat them. We got rid of most of the deadwood/bad apples that didn't want to play for us. I mean, at this point, the old Pochettino players are all practically gone. I mean, the Steve Hitchen transfers have taken us years to get through, and we're almost through most of them at this point, Dark Sun G. That guy did so much damage to this football club, but we're practically there. We're practically through all of it. And it's not a coincidence, in my opinion, that we're now all of a sudden positive and happy about the future, because the recruitment since Steve Hitchen is gone, the recruitment since kind of the old kind of era of players that we had in the past, it's just bright and it's young and it's positive, and you can only think of what's to come and what the possibilities are. It's really great to think about. We'll get on to Youngman Hook in just a second there, Dark Sun G. But didn't do it too much today. I'm actually proud of myself, Nick. Nick, we got rid of most of the Deadwood players that Dave and I would rant about till we were blue in the face.
Yeah, and 3 seasons ago, would we have thought that by this time we would have seen the back of Eric Dyer? at this point, and I won't go into, the list and the litany of the problems. Not everything has been great since Bertucci came in, but you can see that he was the man with the plan. Forget about what you think about Levy, and as far as a way as he should stay from what goes on in the pitch, I am a lot more confident that Paratici is the man that's really calling the shots about how this team is supposed to be run. And I feel a lot better, man. I feel a lot better about it going forward. You just imagine, I got high hopes for this season, but imagine where we're going to be in 2 seasons from now with this crop of youngsters right now. We're going to have prospects and money in the bank with who we could possibly sell and bring in revenue on and build up teams with more experienced players. And then we're going to have things covered as far as our homegrown and our academy requirements are concerned. So we got to get back into the Champions League this season.
And Youngman Hyuk, Dark Sun G, I was able to see plenty of the highlights of him. I'm going to be putting out a scout report for you this coming Monday or Tuesday. I know you probably already know plenty about him. I've been impressed by his dribbling skills. He looks a bit two-footed as well, which I think is a good attribute to have, something that we know Sonny had for this Spurs team that we've taken advantage of, that we've really been blessed by his two-footedness. And it even came through today with that Brennan Johnson cross that almost he scored from Brendan Johnson because Sonny put it a delicious ball with the left foot. And Youngman Hyuk, he looks like a very tricky player, and I'm excited to see him. And he joins a long list of talented young players that we are tapping into early before we have to pay too much for them later. That's the case with Lucas Bergvall. That's the case with that guy Luka Vuskovic. We've done that technically with Will Lancashire here. We got him very early. And there are plenty of other examples of these young guys that we've invested into maybe before they end up becoming the potential superstars that they are capable of being. I think that's even the case too. Pop Matasar. Think about how early we invested into him, right? Getting him from Metz well before he could have been worth much, much more than that. And this is something I've been really happy about with Paratici and just with the recruitment in general since he's come in through the door and since Spurs have switched things up. And I think Youngman Hyuk is a good example of that, and he will join that list of those amazing, talented players. And if you caught Dave's video, Dave was actually on the detective case when it came to it. He saw that transfer rumor. I think he did a bit of research. He asked around, did his own kind of Detective Harris work, and he came through, Dave Harris, and we put out that video very early about that Youngman Hyuk signing happening this I think it's going to be happening tomorrow or on the 29th, Dark Sun G. It will be announced by the CEO of Gangwon FC, and excellent work by Dave Harris ahead of time, and I'm really excited about Youngman Hyuk.
Absolutely, 100%, man. There's an interesting aspect too, though, of the dire straits, pun intended, that we've been put through in recent seasons. And with this crop of youngsters coming up and the options that Ange has been given, the effect that I'm seeing on the fan base is a lessening of the sentimentality for particular players in a good way, in a positive way. I think, and which is what we really need to be, like in the mold of larger teams, like your cities, like your PSGs, where we can have good players in the next 2 seasons, but we have so many that we don't have to be sentimental to the ones that have put in a good shift for X amount of seasons. We can say, okay, time for you to go. We have an upgrade either coming up or we have the money to bring in an upgrade. It's time for you to go on and build your career somewhere else right now, because we have been stuck in the mire of having to hang on to people for sentimental reasons and for purely because we made the wrong decision for so long. I think that's one of the aspects that's frustrated the fan base the most.
And Nick, I'll let you go first on this one, because I know people have heard Dave and I's thoughts plenty of times about this, but Dark Sun G is also saying, I don't want to see Sun play down the middle again this season.
100%, man. You know what? I don't hate Son as a striker, and we know for the national team, he does it to a decent effect. However, at his age, we call him Sonaldo, but he's not Ronaldo. His attributes are very, very different, and he's still extremely effective on the left-hand side. Whereas, especially in the Premier League, where he's getting elbows in the back of the head constantly playing down the middle, you're using him, you're using the tool in the wrong way. You're using a screwdriver to nail in a hammer, essentially. It may be a fantastic screwdriver that you paid $100 for, but it's going to nail in hammer in nails for crap. So I agree 100%. But in order to make that happen, we need to do the right thing as far as bringing in that center forward goes. And it's not just relying on Richie. It's actually hell, man. If we're just going to bring in a Jimenez and not go for a Tony, then keep Lancashire and Valise in the first team, just so we have as many options as possible to try something new.
And with Sonny down the middle, Dark Sunji, just think on the left what you get from him in this system with Ange Postecoglou. He doesn't have as much space to run him behind if he's playing down the middle with the system that we play. Majority of teams are going to be pushed back. They're going to be playing a lot of guys behind the ball. What I think Sonny thrives in playing down the middle with Korea is that there's usually a lot of space in behind when you play against certain teams, and he can just rip teams apart if you give him that space in behind. Whereas with this system, the majority of the space is out on the wings, and you can get the ball as a winger, and you can start running at your defender consistently. You get lots of service, you get lots of opportunities to try to take it past your man and create something out in those wide areas, and Sonny can still do that. He causes fear in the opposition when he's able to put his head down and pick up the ball and start running at players. It's different when he's playing as a striker because he just can't do that. He can't pick up the ball, turn his head, and start running at you. He has to pick up the ball, has to get turned, has to play with his back to goal. It's just so much harder for him. Whereas out on the wing, he just gets to receive the ball, and immediately he's already facing the goal and facing his marker, and then he just creates havoc. And he has such a good left-footed cross. We know he has a good shot on him as well when he cuts inside. You really have to honor that. And he was a real bright spark. Him and Kulusevski, I think, were some of my favorite players in that first half, and it's just not a coincidence that he looks so much brighter out there on the left. Steve D saying, I'm actually going to be critical of Ange. If he doesn't give some of these youngsters a chance over some of our underwhelming first 11 players, if we don't sign established talent, then I'd be Ange all the way so far. Interesting, Steve, because I know you've been very patient with Ange. You've been very patient with this project. That's an interesting criticism that you give, that Ange you feel like he can't ignore the youth any longer. And there's been a board directive to a degree that Ange kind of has to. It's kind of part of his job requirement at this point, Steve D. Maybe something that we'll get stuck into kind of throughout this week. And then Dark Sun G says, crazy o'clock for our first game versus the Foxes, which is very annoying. And I'm trying my best, Dark Sun G, to try to put myself in a similar position to what you guys have to go through on a regular basis. But this is still only preseason. Monday night, right? This is on a Monday as well. So it would be, I assume, a Tuesday game then for him at a crazy time. It's just not easy, is it? Darks and G, I'm sorry, and it's 4 o'clock. That's kind of what Nick probably had to do today, right? And something around that period. Yeah, a little bit.
Had to get up. It 5 a.m.
5 a.m. Yeah, for me, Darks and G was probably something around what you're more used to. I had a 2:30 a.m. Start time for this watch along. Woke up at around 1:45 a.m. Went to bed at 8 p.m. I assume you can't always go to bed at 8 p.m., and there are certain games when you're probably just staying up all night, or you're only getting about 1 or 2 hours of sleep, and you're absolutely just incredible, and so many of you guys for being able to do that, and for having such great Spurs takes and such great Spurs opinions, despite being half asleep during it. If only you guys could be fully awake, you guys would be incredible, analysts and everything. It's amazing. I think I would be probably terrible at analyzing these games if I was watching these at 3 a.m., 4 a.m. on such a consistent basis. So credit to you guys. You guys are made of something different over there, and appreciate your support always, Dark Sun G. And I'm sorry, man, that it's especially Leicester. You want it to be a regular game time, sort of experience, and that's definitely not ideal. Catman Jess, member for 35 months, legend, Catman, and you've been with us probably even longer than even I might have been with this channel. You absolute legend. And he says, big up Jack and Nick. I have lots of optimism for this season. Well, Nick, Are you in Catman Jess's boat? Are you more optimistic than you are pessimistic going into this?
100%, buddy, 100%. Catman and I speaking from the same hymn sheet. Catman's in Canada, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man, he is the anti who's that guy? Scott M. He's the anti Scott M. Yeah, I don't know if you're familiar with Scott M, United Spurs of America sub, but he's basically the Nancy negative on Ange and the future of this club. Uh, Glad to see Catman Jess is being the polar opposite of that one because 100% man. I think we have a lot to look forward to right now. We've got to hopefully, unfortunately, put our faith in the board to make the right decisions about what to do with the money that we supposedly have, and to hopefully try to do it sooner rather than later. Outside of that, everything else looks positive for me right now, man. I believe that Ange Postecoglou is the right move to go forward. I think at least for the next couple of seasons, nothing is really showing me different. As long as we have the correct players and a tight defense. I'm with you, buddy.
Scott, Capman Jess, you've been with us for 35 months. Thank you for the commitment, sir. You absolute legend. And by the way, speaking of Canada, my mom seems to prefer watching the Canadian version of the Olympic channel than she actually enjoys watching the American side. She likes watching the Canadian coverage instead of the American coverage. She seems to think that you guys do a better job of kind of honoring everybody, kind of just being more positive. Whereas us Americans, I think, when we see one of our own end up finishing second on the podium, instead of congratulating them, we actually call them losers, afterwards, because they didn't pick up the gold. So
it's a bit of a kinder and a more gentler.
You guys have more of an Olympic spirit, I think, in all of it than maybe us Americans do, Catman Jess. So I thought you might find that funny that with the Olympics just beginning, that my mom is really enjoying the the Canadian coverage far more than she seems to enjoy the American one, which I'm not sure. I didn't think of that, but it's definitely been eye-opening to me for sure, and really appreciate your length of support for this channel. And you've been very, very good to us. You really have. And I'm glad that you're feeling optimistic. It's good to see some people feeling very optimistic about this upcoming season. And it's one of the best things about being a Spurs fan is plenty of times after bad seasons, not saying last season was, but after bad seasons, it's nice to see those Spurs fans that still pick themselves up, dust themselves down, and still feel positive about the next one upcoming. Davey Shire has gifted out yet again another membership to, looks like, Compact. Please take advantage of it. So many people have been gifted memberships by Davey Shire, and like I said, you guys have to take advantage of it. You get 4 free fan shows on Davey Shire this month, and season's hotting up right before the preseason or right before the season kicks off. I don't think there's a better time to become a member. You get your preseason anxieties in, preseason predictions in, just get to chat with us about the upcoming season, and I think it's a great opportunity to do it. So please take advantage of his generosity, and it would be lots of fun to chat with you guys. Martin Walton, thanks for joining us. He's saying, I'll be in an old Irish pub and Solas near the Tokyo Stadium. Used to be my old drinking spot in Tokyo. Very interesting to know, Martin Walton. Might check it out someday if Nick is over there, or am I ever over there in Tokyo. Appreciate your support, Martin, as well. And Dark Sun G says, it says something that I know, Yang. It says something that I know, Yang. Don't watch the Korean League. Very interesting. Dark Sun G saying he already knew a little bit about Youngman Hook, considering he doesn't even watch the K-League.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the kind of talent this guy apparently has, man. I think we're all very excited to see if he does play on Wednesday.
Giving me kind of Kavicha Kvaratskhelia then vibes, Dark Sun G. I never was able to watch the Russian League as much as I would have loved to have watched the Russian League. I had heard a lot about Kavicha from various people, nerds like myself, kind of chatting about this really talented guy out in the Russian League. And I bet it's probably something similar with Youngman Hook that you might be describing. A guy that is just catching a lot of attention, lots of clips coming out of his brilliant skill, that type of thing, despite, you yourself not actually being much of an enthusiast or that informed even on the league at all. So probably something I had with Kavicha. I'm very impressed there. And we also have Davey Shire. Really appreciate you, sir, saying, quad is on, lads. Deluded happy clappers and loving it. Kulu, what an assist. Stick it right up, Kulu. I mean, Kulu, I think he's not going to silence the haters, Davey Shire, but certainly they have to be silent for at least 12 hours, 24 hours or so for today, because he was one of the bright spots of today. He played really well down the middle. I liked his link-up play. I liked his hold-up play. We already know that he works really hard off of the ball. Yet again, another assist for him. He's doing really well in that department and actually getting end product at the end of these moments. I don't think you can be anything but positive about Kulusevski. And you know me, I always will find an excuse to be a happy clapper, Davy Shire. Always will find an excuse to be a happy clapper. It's one of my favorite things about this channel. It's one of my favorite things about being a Spurs fan, and especially a Spurs fan in this Irish Hotspur community, is that you guys allow me to be a happy clapper. As much as I probably go a bit off the rails with various opinions of mine, whether good or bad, positive or negative, you guys do allow me to sit in my delusion in a very peaceful way. So I appreciate you all. And Davy Shire, always welcome to have deluded happy clapping opinions on this channel. What do you think of Kulusevski? And it's a reason to be a happy clapper this season. Nick, are you going to be happy clapping this season?
Yeah, man, I don't know. That's one of those terms, man, that I think
I embrace it.
I know you do, and God love you for it, man. But you know what? I like to be pensively positive. Is what I like to call it. And as said, as I was saying earlier last season, man, and well before, man, why not move Kulu into the middle? I've been banging that drum for a while, man. I'm just not banging it loud enough. But why not just move Kulu into the middle? He's got the attributes that should make him a decent center forward. I know people don't want to, square pegs for round holes, but no, I think that the square peg was him being on the wing right now in the Premier League. But he's not a permanent answer. He's not the answer to the problem of what we do in the center of our pitch and goal scoring. So, he's like the fondant to the cake. He's the accoutrement, he will do the job. He will add the flavor, but you need a solid center of chocolate mousse in that cake. It's somebody who is a guaranteed goal scorer.
Mm-hmm. And with Decky, you were saying the Decky drum or the Kulu drum needs to be, beaten a bit harder. I mean, you should take it over to the drum circle in Prospect Park. You maybe need a Decky drum over there.
Yeah. That being said, man, I got to go handle business downstairs with the kids and do my family thing. But it has been an absolute pleasure, man.
Today, Nick.
Absolute pleasure to see another wing. And this just in, was it Nuremberg 3, Juventus 0. So far it looks like we're winning the preseason.
What is happening to these big clubs?
Yeah.
I'd love to see the other watchalongs in this case. If they're breeding.
I hope this is a sign of things to come in general. But to big up the Harris Army, big up the Flat Cap Army.
Thank you, Nick.
Thank you for bearing with me today. And come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs. Everyone, do thank Nick in the chat. He's done an absolute service for Dave and I. Absolute king for coming on early in the morning, suffering through early in the morning with me. I didn't suffer, though, because it was lovely to watch Spurs. I think we played, for the most part, pretty well. There were some positives. Yes, there may be some little bits of things that we could criticize, but I think for the most part, there were a lot of positives to take from this performance. So it was really nice to enjoy it with Nick. So please, everybody, do thank him. Excellent service from him. And also, we know he was a great expert during this as well. He has very knowledgeable takes on the J League, and he provided excellent analysis at the beginning. I think he covered like a whole 10 minutes there at one point, just talking about Kobe, talking about some of the former players, the J League, with some of the questions I asked him about the weather. He did an excellent job today. So Nick really does deserve a lot of thank yous and a lot of support. So please, everybody, if you can for me, do send those in the chat. Absolute legend of a man. And I just look forward to more watch-alongs with Nick because I know he's our guy that fills in for us whenever he can, whether it's in my case or in Dave's case. He's really good to us in that department. So please, everybody, such a good person to have on this channel. Davy Shire says, where are the fans? Ange won't get rid of. Where are the fans? Ange won't get rid of Potch's Deadwood. Ange doesn't say what he means. Please be more positive. Proof is in the pudding now. Or proof is in the pudding, I know. Davey, I think with Ange and maybe some of his critics, I think it's hard because some fans, they do just want to see trophies delivered straight away. And I don't necessarily blame them for being that way because we have had to wait a very, very long time. And we've been told to be patient. We've been told, the project is being built only for the project to then be ripped up again, a few years down the line, and we have to start all over. So for the most part, I really try not to tell fans, how to think or what they should be thinking. I like to also argue that I think I'm perfectly entitled to sit in my own delusion and my own happy clapping type of mentality with a lot of things, because that's just how I see the game, and it's how I see my football club at times. It just helps me probably stay the most sane. I'm not saying in any way I'm ever rational or anything, but I think it helps me kind of maintain my sanity. And with Ange Postecoglou, he's given me a lot to be happy about again. I'm not even myself always the most attack-minded person when it comes to football. I actually have no problems sometimes with playing a bit more defensive, playing a bit more conservative on the counterattack. But he's opened up my mind to, Spurs and how they're supposed to be playing, or even how lots of Spurs fans have described that Spurs have, ought to play, because we have the roots of this type of football. We have the roots of this sort of style of play. And it's been the case that we've moved a bit away from it during the times of Jose as well as Conte. And now we're back to what a lot of Spurs fans think is more recognizable, what they think is more enjoyable, and was more worth kind of giving their money to, right? Whether it's to, kind of the TV subscriptions, to going to the games out in London, or even just paying for anything Spurs kind of related. I think they find that this is far more worth it, a lot of Spurs fans, than just paying for a 1-0 scrappy win, under Jose and Conte, where you're practically, taping your eyes open in order to be able to sustain it. So, I don't know. I think you understand what I mean, and I really appreciate your support. I think Ange has done an excellent job getting through a lot of the deadwood. In fact, if anybody hates Ange, I think a lot of us could shake hands with that. A lot of us wanted Dyer out. A lot of us wanted Sanchez, plenty of other players in the squad. Plenty of Højbjerg people, wanted him out. And he's kind of gotten rid of a lot of players that were very divisive players in this fan base, or players that most of us agreed on were just simply not good enough and had let us down on a lot of occasions. And he's done a very good job in the outgoings department. And he's brought in, this kind of emphasis of technical-minded players, technically gifted players into the team too, whereas before we had a bit more kind of clunky, type of, let's say, not as pleasing of players to watch, not as pleasing on the eye type of players. And it's been a real breath of fresh air what Ange Postecoglou has done for this football club. Big up to you, Davy Shire, and I really appreciate your support, my man. Big Mike, missed you, man. Would love to have you on sometime soon, sir, because we've been missing you on the fan shows. I know you're a great panelist as well, so Big Mike, I hope you're doing all right, sir. He says, big up, lads. I've got a good feeling about this season. We're building a young, strong side for Ange and the future. Come on, you Spurs. Yes, Big Mike, I am in complete agreement with you, and this young team is something that, kind of touching on what I was saying earlier with the days of Jose and Conte, when Dave and I were at our absolute lowest, complaining about the squad, complaining about the lack of effort, the football in general being really boring, that sort of thing. A lot of us did mention that we just want to see guys that care, guys that want to put in the effort for the badge. And you're going to get that with the youngsters. But then what's amazing is these youngsters are also very talented and actually very good at football. And so we have just a great combination of kids that know what it means to play for Tottenham Hotspur, actually love playing for Tottenham Hotspur, but happen to also just be excellent players in their own right. It's been great. It's been really nice to see. And so, Big Mike, I would love to see you on a fan show sometime soon. Thank you for 16 months of support as a fan show member. Thank you for your commitment to us. And Ange has been building a strong future and a strong side. And when we see the first 11 not even playing to their best, we get to see these young players, right? These young players end up doing exactly what we've been asking for in the first half, or doing what Ange had been originally asking for. So they've been so good, Big Mike, and really have missed you. So I hope you're doing okay. I hope everything's all right in your life and everything like that. And it's good to see you back on the channel, sir. And then Davy Shire gifting out another 5 memberships. You absolute legend, Davy. And he says, Danny Darko gifted one. I saw that you were having some trouble with picking up one, so please do thank Davy Shire. Evan McCabe's better half, that's a great name. Michael Muir and Warren Clark, as well as Ross Parsons, do thank Davy Shire for his generosity. And once again, everybody, if you are a fan show member, please now come on this Monday. Join Dave or I. We do not bite. We are now expecting, I assume, after Davy Shire's generosity, lots of new people to come on. Would love to see some debuts. I almost demand to see some debuts in the next 4 fan shows. And it's a great time to come on. Preseason games. You have the preseason predictions. You got the upcoming first game of the season with the North London Derby just around the corner as well after that. you have to come on. You have to give your thoughts. You can go on camera off. You just have to hear your beautiful voice. We don't even need to see your beautiful face. We'd just like to hear your beautiful voice and your beautiful takes on this wonderful football club. And please, everybody, take advantage of it. We would love to have you guys on. So Danny Darko, Evan McCabe, Michael, Warren Clark, Ross Parsons, would love to see some debuts happening soon. Please. But everybody, thank you so much for the support today. It's been a wonderful watch along. Even though I had to get up at crazy o'clock, I don't at all feel like that it was that much effort, really, because I got to see the youngsters thrive, got to see a win, 3 goals. The 2 goals we conceded were actually, the first one was kind of more funny than the second one. Second one wasn't really that pleasant to watch, but they weren't really goals that worried me too much because they were kind of just more out of individual mistakes. And it was just another fun watch along, and I'm looking forward to plenty more. Dave will be back for Korea. He did a great job, I assume, on the pre-match build-up earlier. I was trying to catch up on some sleep during that moment, so I didn't actually get to see the pre-match build-up. But really have appreciated you guys for following us along throughout this day. You should expect fan cams. If people are doing that right now, please send in your fan cams. If you are a fan show member, elite show member, send those in, please. There should be instructions in the community section. If there aren't already, I will put them in after I am done with this stream, and we'll put those up for you guys. Twitter React should be out tomorrow as well. I will be putting out at some point a Young Men Hook scout report for you guys, but really have appreciated all the support. Absolute legend. And we also have Big Mike in here again saying, I will be back up for the Harris Army and the Flat Cap Army. Big Mike, thank you, man. And would love to see you. Just we miss your takes. You were just such a great voice during, I think, what was, a bad time during Spurs. If I remember correctly, you bravely came on and were giving your thoughts on the team and just kind of the future of this club, and would like to have you back, Big Mike. And I'm glad to hear that you're positive about the season. It's always good to see someone that's feeling optimistic about the season ahead, and it's nice to hear their takes on why, because there's plenty of reasons to often get down about Spurs. It's a club that really can really can drag you through the mud at times. Spurs can. They really can beat you up. But it's nice to see Spurs fans get that sort of positive kind of, kid-like feeling again, about the new season. At least that's how I'd feel about it. You get that sort of kid-like energy about the new season ahead. So I hope you're in a similar boat there, Big Mike. Really do appreciate you. And Paul Van also saying, looking forward to the season. The future looks very bright. The future looks lily white, doesn't it there, Paul? Really appreciate you as well. Stevie D saying, although you can't deny when we eventually sell to someone with ambition, he's put everything in place for us to kick on, but ultimately I don't trust him to do it. I'd love to be wrong, though. Yes, you do, Steve D. I think you're always maintain that when it comes to your Spurs takes. But yes, everyone, unless there are any more comments or opinions or questions or anything like that, I can start wrapping things up there. If you haven't already, please smash the like button for us. If you haven't already, on your way out. Like I said earlier, if you do want to become a member, please come on this Monday. There should be a fan show. There was already a match preview for you guys. Dave and I were putting some kind of final touches and final pieces. Might as well say this to you now. There's going to be a members-only podcast throughout the season for you guys, exclusive to you members only. And want to get you guys involved with that, but we're just trying to piece it all together and that type of thing. So really just want to say, you guys, that I've enjoyed this day, enjoyed this watch along, and look forward to many more with you guys. And unless there's any more questions, comments, takes, or anything like that, I'm just scanning the chat here. Doing a breakfast run, says Timothy Minter. You know what? It's hard. I'm struggling because now I feel like wide awake at this point. Now it's, I've woken up at 3 in the morning. Now it's 6 in the morning, or nearly 6 in the morning. I've been desperate to go on a run this whole week. I've just had 1,000 errands I've needed to run. One of them still is I have to get a new microphone, sadly. That's why I'm wearing this headpiece here. But I'm struggling to know what I'm to do next. I'm going to do the Twitter Reacts, going to record that with Dave later. And then after that, I think I will try to go on a run or something like that. Richarlison run seems a little risky considering he didn't play today, Timothy. So I'm not sure if that Richie run I might do. That's the kit just behind me there. Maybe I'll go on a sunny run. I'll go for the swimsuit run, which I have to my right there, just below me. Maybe I'll go for a sunny swimsuit run. But yeah, no breakfast run, I think. Maybe not that hungry, actually. And it's hard to even know if I want to do the coffee yet. Now that it's about 6 in the morning, I probably should, but kind of feeling like trying to stay healthy at this point. Who's our midfield then, Jack or Dave? The midfield for me should be... Bergvall has played so well at this point. It feels strange to not start him or not play him quickly. Madison did play well today. At the moment, this might sound like a bit of a hot take. Archie Gray has been really good, and you'd assume that would be Mickey Van de Ven and Cudi Romero still. I don't know. This is maybe because I'm feeling a bit optimistic, but Archie Gray as a number 6, Bissouma, like, I like some of his performances, but I don't think he's played as truly well as maybe he'd like to think. Maybe Archie Gray as a number 6. He hasn't exactly had a whole lot of opportunities there. He's played more as a center back. And then at number 8, it makes a lot of sense to stick with Popstar, but he didn't play too well. But we do know how good he is. Against a team like Leicester, it's a tough one. I wonder if you can get away with Bergvall and Madison against a team like Leicester, if you can play them both at the same time. I'd think about that. Bergvall, Madison, Archie Gray, but I don't know. These are guys that I've just seen more of in preseason, so I think a lot of bias is coming from that. But these are also players that I think have played well in these past few games or so it's just could be a lot of recency bias. So yeah, I'm thinking kind of like maybe Bergvall in there. I want to get Bergvall into the midfield somehow. He's played that well, and he, like you guys said, he was cold today. He's an ice cold Palmer, ice cold Bergvall, and Archie Gray too, I think, has looked really good. He had that one moment in this game where that bit of feet that he had where he took it past 2 or 3, 4 players. Just lovely, lovely feet in that number 6. I think he was playing more as a center back then, but he can't play in the number 6. So we got to see some minutes of him there. And then in the number 10, James Maddison. He's kind of the guy that Ange Postecoglou you'd like to think is going to keep his faith in. I've been critical of James Maddison on plenty of times, but I'm not going to be critical of him after today, after this game. So probably James Maddison, Bergvall, and others. And Kulu, probably play him through the middle if we don't get a striker by then. We should have a striker by then, but if we don't, then I would consider, with how well Kulu has played, we could play Kulu down the middle, Sonny on the left, and whichever player we end up getting, I guess, in the transfer market, hopefully on the right, because it would be frustrating to have to see, again, we probably show our bias towards Brennan Johnson and Timo Werner, but it would be frustrating to have to see Timo Werner or Brennan Johnson start again, in this team, considering I just don't think they've played well enough to deserve to start. But unless there are any other questions, not really seeing too many. Yeah, I think I might end it there, everybody. Really appreciate your support. Thanks for you guys for being with Dave or I, whether it was the pre-match build-up, whether it was the watch-along. Really appreciate Nick as well for filling in during these early hours, these crazy hours, in solidarity with me, us crazy Yanks doing these watch-alongs at stupid times in the morning or in the evening, or stupid o'clock like I like to call it. Thank you guys for all your support. It's been another fun watch-along. Gonna see you next time. Gonna see you for Twitter Reacts tomorrow. And Dave or I should be back for that. And then Monday, fan show. Please, everybody. Fan cams as well. Send those in. I'll be seeing you. Come on, you Spurs. In the big Ange, we trust. We never stop. See you, everybody.